Guys, we're coming to you live on War Week Boxing's post-election Roshi fundraiser. And guys, we're kicking things off with the living legend. Oh, be still my heart. Coach Ronnie Shields, all this and more on the latest marathon edition of War of Week Boxing.
Proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer Ronnie Shields.
Guys, welcome. Happy, what is it, Wednesday today?
Wednesday.
Is that, it's Wednesday. Oh, it's post-election day, isn't it? Oh, well, God bless all of you guys. I'm glad you guys went out and vote and your voices were definitely heard. And I tell you what, congratulations to number 47, which was number 45, Donald J. Trump. I tell you what, guys. Well, look, guys, and once again, on this channel, you know how we carry it and we know what we profess. Regardless of who's in office, the one who's really in charge of this nation is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. How's that, Ronnie? Woo!
Absolutely.
I tell you what, guys, and once again, I could not do this show without the help of the talented co-hosting duties of my brother J.R. Bell. J.R., how art thou, sir?
Hello, Joe. Hello, Joe.
Yeah. I'm sorry, is that Floyd or is that Blair the Flair Cobbs?
Listen, Joe. Joe. No. You got to understand, Joe. You see, I did what I had to do. I had to get my money. I had to get out the
pretty
game.
good. Dude, you got the stutter down and everything. I tell you what, guys, but this segment, enough about me and JR. We wouldn't be doing this without the counsel of our flagship, the living legend, the incomparable Coach Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, how art thou, brother?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Well, I tell you what, we just saw you last week in Vegas, front and center. Oh, boy. And look, I have to say this before we go forward. I was really impressed at the kind of shape that you had David Stevens in, because the last time we saw him on that level, he didn't do so well against Joe Sean James, blossoming, undefeated, young super middleweight. And boy, he was ready for Beck the Bully. Talk about that in your preparation. And how was it getting him back to form? And let me tell you, Dynamite David looked better than ever. And he really made a great account of himself. Talk about getting him back to that point, sir.
Yeah, after the fight with Joseph, he needed a really good scolding, I'm gonna say. And he had to understand the position that he's in as a fighter. You have fighters here, you have fighters there, then you have fighters in the middle. And I told him he needed to get in the middle. Say, he's with one of the top promoters in the sport, which is Golden Boy. And, it was a do or die fight for David. I mean, it really was.
Mm-hmm.
They told him if he gets in there and get knocked out in 1 or 2 rounds, they was going to release him.
Mm.
you know, and he really manned up and got himself in great shape. You know, he had a lot of help in the gym, but all of the fighters in the gym, everybody was jumping on him every single day. You know,
Mm.
making sure he ran, making sure he ate right. You know, he really he really trained the way a young fighter is supposed to train for a fight. You know, his mind was clear. You know, he did everything we asked him to do. And although he didn't get the victory, it was a I think it was a victory within himself that he know now what he has to do in order to be at the top in this sport. And I give him a lot of credit because he didn't have to take this fight, number one. Number two, it was a 12-round fight. So we thought, it was
Wow.
funny.
Yeah.
It was funny how things worked out, right? Because when we got to Vegas on that Tuesday, the week of the fight, we was told that Bet can come in at 170, but we had to come in at 168.
That's
And
ridiculous. I heard about that. Yeah.
and so, but it was explained to me by David's manager, Michael Miller. Michael, he had explained it to me. And so I had to explain it to David so he can understand, what was at stake. So what it was they made a contract for Beck at 170 and for David at 168 because David wanted to fight for the belt. It was a minor belt by the WBA and the number 2 ranking if David wins. So that was more important to David than coming in at 170 himself, which he could have did. He could have came in at 170 and also fought a 10-round fight. Or he could come in at 168 and been eligible to win the belt at 168 pounds. So he chose that instead of the 170. So it was all cleared away, so we thought, until we got in the ring.
Oh boy.
Then the ring announcer, he came up, right before he made the ring announcements. He came and he said, well, he told the crowd, our next bout is a 10-round super middleweight fight. And everybody was confused,
Yep.
So I was in the ring and I went over to where the table were, where, Eric Gomez, the president of Golden Boy Promotions,
Yep.
was. Michael Miller ran over there, and so did some people from Beck's camp. They went over there too, and we all looking like, hold up, man, this is a 12-round fight, not a 10-round fight. And so it took them about 5 minutes to get it straight, but they finally got it that it was a 12-round fight. So.
Well, I tell you what, Coach. I wasn't surprised. I knew you would have your guy in great shape, but I was very impressed with his stature and his poise, and really pushing Beck the Bully to the brink. And to be honest with you, I can't wait to see David fight again. I thought he made a great account of himself, even though he came up a little short, and that's debatable. Your thoughts, Coach? Did you feel that David did enough to earn a decision?
I know he did enough to earn a decision, but like I said, the deck was stacked against us. We knew that going in.
Yeah.
But you can't be afraid in this sport to get in a situation where you say, you know what, I'm not going to fight. That's not our attitude going in. Our attitude was to win, and we trained for it. We did everything we possibly could. The thing about it is you don't know what the mind of the judges is. You don't know what the mind of the referee is, and it's funny, I really, sometimes these referees, man, they come in, they talk a good game before the fight and tell you this, tell you that. And then when the fight starts to happen, that's not what you said in the dressing room, You didn't say that part of the principle.
Oh
You know,
boy.
you let this dude get away with this, you let him get away with that. And, and it really makes me mad when that happens, and
Yeah.
it don't do any good to get mad or curse them out or whatever. That don't do you any good. But, but then you look at the scoring, you know, one judge only gave David 1 round.
Oh
Another
jeez.
judge only gave David 2 rounds. And
Ugh.
the other judge gave David the fight. How
Yep.
does that happen?
Yep.
How does that happen? I mean, what are these people looking at? They wasn't looking at the fight. Simple as that. You know, and really and truly, I believe the two judges were plants. And this is what we have to deal with in the sport. A lot of people don't really understand what fighters have to go through. It's so much that you have to continue to prove to people over and over and over. And it's not fair to these fighters. It's just not. And, you know, Beck he's a good fighter, but David Stevens to me was the better fighter, this past Saturday night.
It's hard to it's impossible to disagree because, yeah, they phoned in those two scorecards. That was absurd. JR, what were your thoughts when you were watching that fight unfold, brother?
I mean, the thing with Beck is to me, I've seen Beck in action live a couple of times and on TV a couple of times, and he, usually just has like one gear and doesn't really go that much above that. So if you pretty much like know that, going into the fight, how you could properly adjust to him and, be able to properly counter him or be able to, be the aggressor for most of the fight. And I think, Stevens had done that, there for the majority of the fight. And I felt like he pulled that out. But, going to what
Agreed.
Ronnie said, going to what Ronnie's saying, and also, like how we have talked about, judges and how they are, at the ring and at ringside. Sometimes, yeah, they'll pre-fill out the card before, writing, taking that pen and actually writing that 10-9 on that round, So it'll say like, majority of those rounds, they'll already have in their mind 10-9 for a certain fighter before that round even ends. And so, that's pretty much what happened here.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, guys. Once again, and kudos to you, coach, for getting your man in the best shape to pull off what would have been considered a mild upset. But yeah, I thought your man won the fight, landing the harder, more consequential shots, dictating the pace of the fight. I mean, what criteria are they using to score in what I thought was the fight of the night?
Yeah,
I thought it was a great showing by David. Go ahead, sir.
No, it definitely was the fight of the night for sure. And the thing about it was our plan was to bully Beck. We know he's a bully, and that's what we did. We backed him up. We scored. I mean, when you looked at his face, he was cut up on both eyes, swelled up on both eyes. I mean, David just destroyed this guy. And for him not to get the decision, man, I'm gonna say it's a minor setback because now Golden Boy really see that David is for real. That when he puts his mind to it, he can show up and show out. And now they're really happy with him. They're really happy with the performance that he put on, and they can't wait till they get him in another fight so we can get him right back in.
Well, I tell you what, coach, bonus factor fiction before we even start. Factor fiction, sir. David Dynamite Stevens will get a fight against Darius Fulgham and knock him the F out in the first quarter of 2025. Factor fiction.
Well, that's going to be fiction. And the only reason it's going to be fiction is because Darius, he helps us a lot. He comes to my gym a lot to spar.
Really? Oh, that's
Yes.
right. He's from Houston, Texas. That's right.
Yeah, he trains a lot at my gym.
So he's not going to fight David Stevens. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely not. They spar. They spar. You know, even when I didn't have Southpaw Spawn, that's who we helped us. Darius helped us, you know, because we knew, you know, our plan was to back up. So if Beck didn't want to back up, you know, we had to fight in the middle of the ring. So, and Darius came over, and he came over for like a month, for about the first month, before he got his opponent. Then come to find out, his opponent was a Southpaw. So he had to get Southpaw Spawn, and so we found Southpaw Spawn to help us also. But for the first 4 weeks, that's who we sparred with the whole time, Darius.
I tell you what, I really like Darius. He's a very good ticket seller in the Houston area.
Yep.
But yeah, I can't see him beating your man David.
Well, and the Darius is going to help my guy David Morrell when he fight Benavides. So,
oh boy,
so
let's hope that
Darius is going to be one of the sparring partners. Oh, the
let's
fight is
hope
signed.
that
Fight is signed.
So do you know the date though? Is it January 25th?
It's going to either be January 25th. Today I heard February 1st.
Very good, guys. That's it. I love it. And are they combining that with the Tank Davis fight now?
No, I heard it wasn't. That's going to be separate.
Oh boy, we'll get to that in Fact or Fiction, guys. But before we move forward, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. Okay. We're getting to that next, Treetop. And thank you for joining us, my friend. And we really appreciate. And if you have any questions, guys, for the incomparable Coach Ronnie Shields, please let him fly. And Treetop says, yeah, well, why isn't Ronnie the head coach of Kid Austin? His dad talks to him like a little kid. And I've noticed a little bit of shame and Kid Austin looking at the floor kind of sad. Look, I really felt for the kid. After the third round, his dad looked like he didn't know how to react in that scenario. And then he said, what do you think, coach? And you said, well, just box him. Just box him. Use your jab and box him. It's like, why does he insist on being Chief's second? Ronnie, are you able to talk about that at this time?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, you know, here's the thing, right? Floyd Sr., right? He, you know, he was his trainer from the very beginning. So, you know, when they first called me up and asked me, would I help him out? I said, yeah, no problem. I'll help you out in any way I can. And at first, I was just going to the fights, wrapping his hands and working in the corner. And then for like 2 fights, they came down to Houston. They came here and they trained at my gym for like 2 fights, and everything was great. But, you know, but they lived in San Antonio. So, so he told me that they had to go back. And I understood that, you know, but they asked me would I continue to help him in the corner. I said, yeah, no problem. But I'll tell you about this fight that he just had, right? So when they first made it a couple months ago, they asked me to take a look at it. So I did. And I called his father and I told him, I said, listen, he's just going to have to box. He's going to have to, you know, stay off the ropes, stay out of the corners, and they got to work the middle of the ring and just box this guy. Don't try to knock him out because you can't knock this kid out. I said, this kid has a great chin. And I mean, I just looked at like about 4 of his fights and I saw that the kid was really good. I said, you know, his record don't speak for the kind of fighter he is. I say, but the kid is not afraid to fight anybody. So, you know, you're just going to have to work on, you know, just making him box in the middle of the ring. I say, and keep stepping around and not stay, you know, trying to go toe-to-toe with the kid because this kid can really, he can punch and he loves to go to the body. And the kid, he throws wild punches. So you got to watch punches that's going to go behind the head. So you got to really watch everything. So they said they had it. So I said, okay, cool. And so when I got there, you know, I talked to the dad and I talked to the kid. And, you know, I said, hey, man, you know what you got to do, right? He said, oh, yeah, for sure. We just got to box him. I said, all right, cool. So I did the pads with him in the back before David fought, you know, and we worked on you know, just him boxing, and that's the thing. But you know, and I understand being an ex-fighter myself, that sometimes when you get in a fight, you know, the guy's going to force you to fight his fight at a certain point. But you know, you have to work on this every single day. You can't, you know, bypass that. You know, you have to know, you know, what kind of guy that you're in front of, and know what you can do with him and what you can't do with him. And with the guy swinging so wild, the guy was hitting kid in the back of the head a lot. And the referee caught it and warned him a couple of times. But still, you know, the one time that he got really hurt, you know, that really hurt him. The one shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
So, and that happens. This is the sport. This, you know, that's going to happen in certain fights. And did the kid do it on purpose? Of course he did. You know, he made it look like he was just swinging, but at the same time, his still was in the back of the head the way he threw it. So, and yeah, he, you know, he got hurt by that, but you know, but look, did he win the fight? Yes, that's the most important thing. He won, and now he can move on to his career.
There it is. There it is, guys. And once again, we've got so much ground to cover, guys. So we're going to move on. But thank you, Treetop, for the question. And thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Also, we want to say hello to our dear friends, Jesus M. Saludos to you, brother. He says, saludos, coach. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Also, my brother in Christ, the Iceman. He says, Trump. That's right. He is your next president, barring any kind of controversy. Oh, boy. We'll talk about that a little bit later, guys, after we talk about and address all kinds of boxing stuff. Also, my brother Outlaw, he says, welcome to the show, sir. He says, no one cares about Trump, Joe, but how about them Dodgers? Congratulations to your World Series champions, the L.A. Dodgers. Boy, they whooped that Yankee ass. And I tell you what, they sure did look elite. Winning the series in only 5 games. Congratulations to you, my friend. Although I can't stand the LA Dodgers.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I know. Look. My deep-rooted hatred for anything Dodgers goes back to the Tommy Lasorda days because I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, and I remember hating their guts when it was only 2 divisions in the National League, the way it should be. But congratulations nonetheless. They really earned that World Series trophy. And I tell you what, it was fascinating, though. Teach says, no boxing talk. When is Coach Ronnie back? Yep, right here, brother. Thank you for joining us, Teach. He just saw the title, and he thought he would comment on that. Let's see. Treetop says, MAGA season in full effect. Woo! Gives a Blair the Flair Cobbs. Woo! And there it is.
He shouldn't have given a woo. You know what he should have given? Brother.
Woo! Hollywood Hogan, part of MAGA, part of Dark MAGA. Hollywood Hogan, baby. Yes, and Teach also says, good that they got the Stevens fight straightened out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, let me tell you something, Trumpomaniacs.
Yeah. Woo! As Seuss M says, Coach, Beck has not really improved, basically one-dimensional still. What say you? What are your thoughts on Beck the Bully and his seemingly lack of progression up to this point?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Beck had a great amateur career, and you know, that was really looking forward to him doing, you know, a lot of good things in, you know, in his pro career. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, my guy, our plan was to bully Beck, and that's what we did, and we did that.
Well, and you know what? Are you a bit surprised that he hasn't really seemed to improve, even when working in that great stable of talent with Joel Diaz?
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, but sometimes it's up to the fighter, you know. It's not always the trainer, you know, it's up to the fighter to pay attention to, you know, advance. The fight is up to the fighter to advance his career. You know, you can train him hard, you can train him strategy, you can do everything you want, but it's up to the fighter to get it in his mind that this is what he want to do.
You know what? That's a very good point, brother. That's a very good point. You know, you can only lead the horse to the trough. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's
right.
it, brother. And Treetop also says, man, I would love to see Beck versus Berlanga. Well, I'd love to see David Stevens versus Berlanga. Coach, how does that fight play out in your mind?
I like it. I love it. I would like to see Beck fight David Murray at 175.
Oh, boy. You want him to get that comeuppance, don't you, Coach?
Oh yeah.
I love it. There's milk on the whiskers there, Coach. Coach, he says, Floyd Schofield has much improvement and much experience to work on and get better. He must be on the 2-year protection plan or 2-year project plan. Coach, when is Floyd going to start training full-time in Sugarland, sir?
Well, I don't know yet. You know, we kind of talked
Because that's
about
what
it.
he needs. That's what he needs, Coach. And it's obvious to everyone, including the Brassic Golden Boy.
Yeah, well, you know, it is, you know, and, you know, I was grabbed by Bernard Hopkins during the fight to please talk to him, you know, during the rounds. And, you know, I don't step on nobody's toes, you know, since I
Of
didn't
course.
train him not one day for the fight, I just, when I'm asked to do something, then that's when I do it, you know. And after the third round, they did. You know, his father asked me to please, you know, talk to him also. So I did, you know, and, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, you know, you have to make up your mind in this sport, whether you want to advance yourself or you want to do it yourself. And, you know, it's got to be a choice.
Well, I will say this. After the very tough outing against Rene Tellez Giron, right? Who, let's just face it, you pegged him right because he's got a big knockout victory over Carlos Balderas, former Olympian. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where Top Rank said, yeah, we're going to ship you back off to we're going to cut you, man, after that. And you saw that he was tough, rugged, physical, mental. He was going to put that constant pressure. And well, at least in those outings, Coach, we see truly what we have in our prospects. And now you know exactly what you have to work on, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
and
the
that's
thing
what.
about
Go
boxing
ahead, sir.
is, no, but the thing about boxing is, you know, you only have two styles basically. You have a cut forward style. But he, you know, the thing is, when you work on certain things, you have to keep working on it every single day to get him used to doing something every single day. And, you know, and I say this to him all the time, you know, just keep working on your boxing skills. Like I did all that stuff, you know, because he's
James,
Yeah.
can you guys hear me? Is
Yeah, I can
Coach
hear you.
Ronnie frozen on your end as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, very good. Coach Ronnie, you're frozen, sir. We
you
hope
hear
to
me
get the.
now?
Okay, we can hear you now, sir. It's perfect now. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us, sir?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us, sir? It looks like Coach Ronnie's having some technical difficulties on his end. We will try to get this rectified, guys. While we're trying to get this taken care of, let's go ahead and continue to say hello to our dear friends in the chat. Coach, if you can hear me, if you could just log out and log back in, hopefully that'll improve everything. Let's see.
Yeah. On that
Okay.
Schofield joint. Yeah, that was an interesting fight, you know, with Rene Tellez.
Well,
you know,
hold
had
on,
the
James.
preview.
Hold on, Big James.
Yeah.
Hold on, Big James. I think we've got Coach Ronnie back online. Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Fine.
Excellent. Very good. You seem to be in top form once again. As you were, sir, as you were saying, because
Yeah,
right
yeah.
when you started talking about it, you pretty much cut out. So
Okay. No, I just say like with a kid like Floyd Schofield, you know, you have to continue to work on his boxing skills, and you know he has to master that skill, and you know you have to do the same thing with him every single day for him to master that skill, and don't change anything. Yes, you're going to fight different styles, but still, you know they got to adapt to what you do, not to what they are doing.
that's right. Ring generalship and muscle memory, guys. Once again, you're not going to be expected to do in the fight what you can't do or haven't done in the gym.
Exactly.
There it is. There it is, guys. Words and
Mhm.
pearls of wisdom from the coach. I tell you what. Look, Jesus, Lara versus Shiraz. How would we know? Coach Ronnie doesn't handle Erislandy Lara any longer, and hasn't been for what, almost half a decade now, Coach.
Absolutely.
Chingo. Anyway, thanks for supporting the coach, Jesus. We love you, brother. And Treetop says, no, man, David Stevens, Beck the Bully wasn't the fighter of the night. Fighter of the night was Sweet Poison Gabby Fundora. Well, I will say this, that was a knockout of the night.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
come on now. Look, as much as I love Gabby and the entire Fundora clan, they're great people. Some of the best people that you will meet, not just in this business, but in life. They're great people. But come on now. That's not on the same level as David Stevens, Beck the Bully. Come on now. Let's just be honest, guys. Chihuahua. Teach says, I think Kid Austin's father's behavior was uncalled for. He's causing confusion in the corner. Hey, brother, you said it. I didn't. And thank God you said it, so I didn't have to. And there it is. Bruce, Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day, guys. And if you haven't already, please go support my brother Bruce. Thank you for always being the great ambassador for our beloved boxing, my friend. And I'll tell you what, we want to get.
Bruce. Wait a minute. As they say in wrestling, what about me? What about Raven?
Oh, shoot. What about me? So because you're not wearing dreadlocks or that flannel that Raven used to, brother, and that's what it is. So I tell you what, thank you, brother, for supporting Big JR Bell on the evening, Bruce. We appreciate it. And W.A.W, welcome to the show, sir. He says, I really thought Coach Ronnie did a tremendous job in Stevens' corner against Beck. I actually think that if David had gone more to the body, he could have stopped Beck. Great advice, Ronnie. Yes, sir. He is one of the elite for a reason, and you've got a great set of eyes, W.L. I noticed the same thing. God bless you. And I say this all the time, Coach. We have the most intelligent fight fans in our chat every single week. God bless you guys. And Lance, for our good friend from St. Paul, Minnesota, thank you for supporting the coach on this day. We appreciate it, brother. And yeah, guys, so once again, it is time for a brand new segment. Or James, were you able to come up with your rapid fire Q&A?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Very good, guys. So without further ado,
it's time for the BoxingSource.net Rapid Fire Q&A.
So, guys, on this edition of Rapid Fire Q&A, Big James Bell is actually going to give Ronnie a test of some word association. He's going to call out his, handful of fighters. And Coach Ronnie, you're going to respond by just saying one word. Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Here we go, JR.
He said handful. I'd say two hands because I got 10
Woo!
of them.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it.
Here we go. First one, Roberto Duran.
Great fighter.
Okay. Number two, Gervonta Tank Davis.
Great up-and-coming fighter.
Number three, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh.
Did you say Sugar Ray Leonard?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Also a great fighter.
Okay. Number four, Andreas Katsarakis.
Up and coming great fighter.
All right. Next one up. Naoya Inoue.
Oh boy.
Super great fighter.
Oh boy.
All right. Next one up. Sonny Liston.
Elite.
Oh boy. Oh, Sonny. Elite.
Okay. Next one up. Errol Spence Jr.
He's in between now.
I thought you were going to actually say the SH word, Coach Ronnie. See,
No.
Coach is being nice.
We put him in between. He's in between right now.
Well,
Okay.
we'll find out. We'll find out. The truth always reveals itself in the ring, as you were, JR.
I like how you put that there, Joe. Next one up. Marvin Hagler.
Oh boy.
Great fighter.
Man, I tell you what, he's one of my ATGs, brother.
Mine too.
Oh
All
boy.
right. Next one up. David Morrell Jr.
Up and coming great fighter.
All right. And the last one. The Eastern Assassin, Larry Holmes.
Oh boy.
Super great fighter.
Jeez, Coach Ronnie, and to piggyback on top of that, thank you, James. To piggyback on top of that, where would you list Larry Holmes in your top 10 all-time great heavyweights?
All-time great. I would have to put him about number 4.
Wow. Out of curiosity, who's your top 3 then?
Ali, Frazier, Foreman.
Wow. Dude, that is some kind of list. Woo! Tell you what. And so now we're talking about all-time greats. Where would you put Sugar Ray Leonard in your all-time great welterweight, sir?
Oh, as welterweight, number 1.
You mean, wait a minute. So you're rating him above Floyd Jr.? Dude,
No
I can't
doubt.
even say that with a straight face.
No doubt.
Come on, Coach.
doubt.
Come on, Coach. You know the deal. I did what I had to do.
Hey, did Sugar Ray Leonard, did he face as many champions as me?
Listen, Sugar Ray Leonard ain't faced as many champions as me.
He fought
Sugar
better
Ray
fighters
Leonard.
than you. He fought better fighters.
Oh, you know what? Floyd, I just have one thing to tell you, Floyd. 15 rounds, same day weigh-ins. That's all I'm
Yep.
gonna say. That's all.
what I'm
You know
talking
what?
about.
Until
Hey,
you
hey, 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 listen,
do
Joe.
that, that's not even in the same discussion. Like honestly, Coach Ronnie, let's continue on this because this is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So how would a fight in your mind play out between Floyd Jr. and Thomas the Hitman Hearns at 47?
Tommy hands were too big and too strong.
Yep.
Jab would have been too much for him. Right hand would have killed him.
Yep. I can't see it playing out any other way. And
No.
look, guys, for posterity, I actually asked Tommy Hearns that question about 10 years ago, and he said this. Well, first of all, Floyd would do everything he possibly could to get out of that fight. And two, if my left hand could touch him, the right hand was coming right behind.
Yep.
And he said he couldn't see Floyd getting out of the 6th or 7th round.
No, absolutely.
Ooh. So, sorry, Floyd.
Yeah, that's opinions.
Oh, I tell you what, guys, that's why they fight the fights. Oh, that's why they
Opinions
fight
matter.
the fights. Yep, opinions matter. So without further ado, guys, let's hold on. Let's go to
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
all right, here we
And I wouldn't duck Tommy Hearns either. No.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Yes, you would. In fact, you'd probably have pee stains on your trunks while you're walking out to the ring. Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. Not even Tommy Hearns. Yes, you would.
No.
So
No,
number one, Big JR.
Listen, Tank Davis.
All right.
I love it.
Tank Davis will not face Lamar Rhodes Jr. in Houston, Texas, as previously slated for December 14th, and does not know where or when his next assignment will take place. Fact or fiction?
That's a fact.
Look, and we've all been praying, guys, for the health of the captain of PBC, Al Heyman. And so, what does the future hold for PBC, Coach?
You know what? I have no idea, to tell you the truth. I know Al is down with a throat infection, and he can't really talk. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, he continues to be in everyone's prayers, whether you like PBC or not. Guys, all of our prayers are with Al Heyman at this time. God bless him. So we hope he continues his plight within the sport of boxing, because there are a lot of people who depend on him in this business.
Mm-hmm.
And look, let's just face it, guys. If Al Heyman isn't steering the ship, there is no PBC. Let's just face it. He is PBC, guys. So please keep him in your prayers at this time. Number 2, Big James.
Even in victory, O'Shaquie Foster will be dropped by Top Rank due to his inability to hold a potent offensive attack to his brilliant defensive abilities. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's fiction. Oh man, O'Shaquie is a good fighter. He's, to me, he won the first fight easily, then he won the second fight. And you have to understand, when you become a world champion, like the opponent was, it's become harder for you. That's why the second fight was much harder, because the other guy was champion. And that puts you walk different, you talk different, you train different, you do everything different when you're champion of the world. So I give O'Shaquie and his team a great standing ovation, because, they knew what they was in for. They knew what they had to do. And, pure and simple, O'Shaquie won. And now he can get back to being himself, and that's being champion of the world.
And there it is. There it is, guys. I tell you what, hold on just one second. Let me take this off, because we're going to visit the comment section before we move forward once again. And we have to say hello to some new faces in the chat. And we need to say hello to our dear friend, G Funky Boxing. Good to see you, my friend. If you guys haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, G Funky Boxing. He says, good evening, gentlemen. Rest in peace, Maestro Quincy Jones. We lost one of the all-time greats. Yes, we did, guys. Fun fact, guys. Did you realize that Quincy Jones was the architect and the composer of the theme from Sanford & Son? How do you like that, guys? On top of all of the great works that he did. And once again, I just have one word to say about him. Thriller. Holy cow. I mean, yeah, that's a special talent. Maestro will be missed. Thank you for bringing that up, my friend. Thank you for bringing that up. And I tell you what, I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to our dear friend, Mr. Mark Blake. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for supporting Coach on this day. And also, thank you, Mr. President 47. Thank you for joining us and supporting the Coach on this day. And also, my brother, Double T, Thomas Schreiber. Welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for supporting Coach on this day. We love you, my friend. And he says, Ronnie is one of the best in the business and a great guy.
That's
and
right.
Once again, yeah, one of the best you will ever meet, not just in boxing, guys, but in life itself. And Big Luke, my brother, he agrees. Coach Ronnie gets the nod tonight over Newsmax post-election coverage. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I tell you what, Big Luke, I have to thank you, my friend. He is the first contributor to the post-election fundraiser for my son's band, Roshi. Guys, if you would like to give a donation to the cause to put my son's band on tour next summer, in support of 2 signed artists, you can go donate via Cash App to $WARA week. And we want to thank Big Luke for his generous and kind contribution. Thank you, my friend. We love you, brother. And keep on fighting the good fight and keep on being that beacon of the Lord's work and being the great mentor that you are. We love you, my friend. And thank you for your friendship. It means a lot to me, my brother. And yes, Treetop, that is the Thomas Triber of Riyadh season. And you will see him back in action as Latin Night Riyadh season on November 16th, as well as the events, the media events leading up to that fight. God bless you. And yeah, look, I will say this. Double T has now become one of the elite ring announcers, and it is long overdue. And I'm so happy that he's starting to get that recognition. Aren't you, Ronnie?
Absolutely, man. You know, Thomas and I, we talk all the time. We was in Saudi together for a couple fights, you know, couple of times, and in London. So we've been hanging out.
Yeah, I tell you what, Double T is one of the best guys I've ever met in this business. Great guy, and boy, he is a real pro. Look, I'll say this also. It doesn't matter if it's Riyadh season or a club show, in which he'll be the master of ceremonies on November 23rd in San Antonio at the Shriner Auditorium. Boy, I had to throw in that cheap plug. But it doesn't matter what size of the event. You'll always get the Thomas Triber calling the action in the exact same way, with the same enthusiasm, with the same vigor. And you know what? You're a credit to the sport, my man. So thank you, Thomas. We appreciate you, brother. Look, hold on. Let's see. And we're going to go back. Oh, hold on. My brother Iceman agrees, says, yep, Mayweather would have ducked Thomas like he ducked Paul Williams. Oh! Dude, throwing the punishers, man. Oh! Woo! You mean just like he... You mean just like he ducked Alfredo Angulo? Oh, no, not Alfredo Angulo. What's his name? Who's the guy who Shane Mosley just whooped that ass at the Staples Center? Antonio Margarito. Yes. You mean like he ducked Antonio Margarito, coach?
You got to move forward with this. You know I'm a media person, so.
Oh, and there it is. SSB Diving. Thank you for supporting the coach on this evening, brother. Yeah. And number 3.
Before we go to number 3, one more shout out to.
Hold on, let me clear the stage. Hold on. There we go, brother. Go ahead.
One more shout out to our resident announcer, Thomas Schraber.
Woo! I tell you what, man, we love him on the show. Great ring announcer and one of the elite. That's why you always see him on the same card with Michael Buffer. Similar company, guys.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Hey, thank you, Joseph. Thank you for having me on Fact or Fiction.
Yeah, thank you for ducking Antonio Margarito, as you were, sir.
Oh, come on, all right, number three. Jose Ramirez will be knocked into retirement on November 16th when he faces Arnold Barbosa on Latin Night / Riyadh season. Fact or Fiction?
Oh man, this could be.
I know, Coach. Yeah. It's look. Unless he's turned back the clock since his eye-opening performance against Rancis Barthélemy.
Yeah.
I can't see him going the distance against Arnold Barbosa.
Boy, I don't see it either, but you never know. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we know. Okay.
Yeah. Well, look, Ronnie, brother, you've got those eyes, man, and you know what you see in the ring, and it's impossible not to notice. Well, I tell you what, it was fun while it lasted.
Hey.
Yeah.
And there it is. There it is. I'll tell you what. We just hope that both fighters have a very successful night on a terrific card. Riyadh season, Latin Night, Golden Boy Promotions. And guys, once again, it's going to be on regular subscriber DAZN. Thank you, Turkey Al Sheikh. Can't thank him enough for everything he's done for our beloved boxing. Number 4, Big James.
Listen. This what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen next Friday. I'm gonna cause Jake Paul to have peace stains on his trunks. Okay?
You know what? I think that may be your best impression.
Listen, coach. I know you believe in me, so I know that you're gonna just pump me up and have me motivated to go in there AT&T Stadium. All right,
brother. Honestly, I don't think Tyson needs any more motivation than he already has against Jake Paul.
Right.
Coach Ronnie, is this a fact or fiction?
You know what? It could be a fact, but it can also be fiction. And the fact part is in the first 4 rounds. The fiction part comes after 4 rounds.
Oh boy!
Here's the thing: they're going 8 rounds, I think it is.
Yes, 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds, and 14-ounce gloves.
So Mike, Mike are punching 20-ounce gloves. It doesn't make a difference what side the gloves are. The thing is the stamina.
Yeah.
At his age, that's the thing. And if Jake Paul was smart, he'd jump right on top of Mike to make Mike throw punches. But then that could be a mistake too, because it might catch him with that hook.
Oh boy!
The hook out uppercut is over.
So, Coach,
for what I understand, though, they can't win unless it's a knockout.
That's right. That's exactly right. Greg Alvarez. Thank you, Greg. Well, look, Coach. How do you prepare for a guy like Mike Tyson in the gym and replicate those same quick combinations in sparring?
Well, if I was preparing Jake for Mike, I would tell you, look, put your shoes on, sneakers. Don't worry about your wet sneakers, because you're going to run your ass off for 3 rounds. After that, then we're going to stand up to him just a little bit to 4 and 5, and then 6, 7, and 8, we'll push him hard. That's the way I would do it.
Hey, James, do you smell that, brother? Woo, I smell an article right there, brother. Look, Coach. In your opinion, is this event going to prove to be good or bad for boxing? Because they're expecting a live global audience of over 40 million worldwide.
Yeah, here's what I think. I think the undercard is really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make it. That's going to make the show worthwhile. I don't think they even needed Mike Tyson and Jake Paul with the undercard that they have. So that's just the icing on the cake, I believe. And it may not be the best fighter tonight, because I'm sure it's going to be a lot of holding, hitting, elbowing, all kind of stuff is going to go on. But Mike hitting one time is going to be over.
Ooh.
One clean shot is going to be over.
Come on, Mike! Woo! I tell you what, if Mike can on one night become the baddest man on the planet once again, that would be the purging of everything, wouldn't it, Coach?
Yeah, but then now he got to fight Holyfield again. So.
Oh, no one wants to see that, man. Oh no,
He got to fight his business partner if he does that.
No, I want to see him knock out Tommy Fury. That's what I want to see him do.
Oh yeah, that's even better than Holyfield.
There it is. Oh, geez, Holyfield. Goodness gracious. No. Coach, why'd you have to do that to me, man? I love Holy, man. That's just all kinds of wrong, brother.
Hey, Holy's still working out, man.
Chingao. Here we go. Number 5. I'm pleading the 5th on that one, guys. Number 5, Big James.
Andreas Katarakis will outclass and outpoint Brandon Adams to win the OTX Junior Middleweight Tournament on November 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia. Fact or fiction?
That could definitely be a fact. You know, let me tell you something, man. Brandon Adams is no joke. This guy can really fight. I know because I had Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo fought him and defended his junior middleweight title against Brandon. And Brandon, he was there to fight. And I've been looking at Brandon a lot lately, of course, because he's fighting my guy. And I mean, looking at his last fight, Brandon is still there. You know, nothing has left this guy. You know, this is a tough fight. You know, and my guy knows it. You know, we all know this is a tough fight for us. So we have to continue to do what we've been doing, work hard. And Andreas, man, he works really hard. You know, he was one of the guys that was on David Stevens' tail every day, you know, to try to get him back right. But look, Katz is coming. You know, he don't want anything to stop him. He's like a train on the track. And if you're in the way, he's going to run you over.
Tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that post-fight interview also, man. Dude, I love his accent. I love his intellect, and I love the action in the ring, man. What's not to like? Tell you what, Andreas Katsarakis, guys. So tune in to DAZN on November 23rd, where you will see Ronnie.
22nd.
Or is it the 20th? Friday the 22nd. My apologies, guys. So it's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia on DAZN, and you'll see Coach Ronnie in the corner with Andreas Katsarakis as they take on the always dangerous Brandon Adams. Wait a minute. Didn't he whoop the ass of Sergey Boachuk, who just took Virgil Ortiz to the brink? Isn't that the same guy? Yeah, guys, look out. We could be seeing a Fight of the Year candidate on November 22nd.
Absolutely.
There it is. There it is, guys. Oh, gosh, that's a great matchup, man. Woo. Oh, and well, look, it's time, guys, for a brand new segment on Coach Ronnie's show.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
And I don't care what you guys say, that is a terrific Kenyan accent that I just did. Chihuahua, man. You know, I've been ridiculed for that. People saying that is the worst impression that you've ever done, Joseph. And I don't care what anyone says, but tell me when you can see this, guys.
That's it.
All right, here we go, guys. Our first terrible fan take on Coach Ronnie's show. Here we go.
Problem fighting problem giving us our credit, whether he spars with you or whether he says that you are a great fight. What are you around here saying that he's a bitch for? About what, man? I'm just saying this. Everything that we done did in boxing, right? It's bullshit. You're lying, dog. You're lying. Nobody else wants to. Yeah, you're lying because guess what? Nobody else wants to fight you. Nobody else is gonna give you action. Nobody else is gonna get on here and talk to you because they're pussies. You're not telling the truth about us. Yeah, with your shit grin smile, and hopefully it happens. But if not, listen, if you show the same aggression, the same shit to everybody, then you're gonna be in something because anybody can get it.
You could call me the can man because anybody can get it.
We feel that way about you and everybody else, brother.
I'm levels above this dude.
What I'm saying is, if the only fight that you have is Kevin, then get in line, brother.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, can you say that Blair Cobbs is somewhat getting in the mind of Devin and Bill Haney at this time?
Oh, without a doubt.
He's got a knack for that, doesn't he?
He does. Look at it did to Adrian Broner. So,
oh boy,
it's the same thing.
And that leads us to number 6, Big James.
Oh no!
You can't even spit it out, can you, brother?
I can't even.
All right, I'll do the honors on this one, brother.
Oh,
Number
come
6,
on.
Factor Fiction coach Devin the Dream Haney will take on Blair the Flair Cobbs on BLK Prime pay-per-view in January 2025. Factor Fiction coach.
Fiction.
Oh boy.
God.
You mean it's coming to
Yeah.
Triller?
I cannot see Devin Haney or his father messing with Don King.
Oh
No
boy.
way. I don't see it.
You know what? That is an excellent point, and please expound on that, brother. Please expound,
Well-
because this is going to be an article.
They act well. Devin Haney's father act like a young Don King.
That's
Can you
it.
imagine? Can you imagine the way they'll be talking to each other?
Clash of the
Don King
egos.
on one end. Yeah, without a doubt. That would be crazy. I would love to go to the press conference because man, the fighters wouldn't get a word in.
Wait a minute. Blair the Flair Cobbs, Bill Haney, and Don King on the same platform in the same press conference.
No,
You're right. I can't even imagine that. JR?
Nobody be able to talk.
Yeah, JR, your thoughts on that, brother?
Man, like I would be surprised, like highly surprised, if they even had anything close to this fight coming, coming about. My thing with Devin Haney is that after what happened in April, regardless of the result, I think and I've said this before, I think the direction that they are heading towards is a rematch with Ryan Garcia. And I know what's, about to happen with Ryan Garcia here coming up, but still, I just feel like, one, I've said it, that is the most lucrative fight that Devin Haney could have right now at this point. And two is that I think he still has what actually happened in the ring in his mind, regardless of the circumstances with Ryan Garcia. I think he feels like, I should be so much better than this guy that I should have been able to, outclass him in every facet. And with that not actually happening, I think that still, resonates within his mind right now.
You know what? That's a very good point. And I tell you what, the only reason why I included this on Terrible Fan Takes, Bill Haney. Wait a minute. He's the can man. Anyone can get it. Except for Sandor Martin or Liam Perro. Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean, sucker? Come on now. Anyone can get it. Yeah, if you pay Devin Haney over $5 million, sure.
Well, but this is why Don King is calling on Turkey.
Oh boy! Whoa! What? What?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear that?
No. What happened?
Oh,
Please
yeah,
do tell, sir.
I saw the other day that I saw it on YouTube. Don King calling out to Turkey Ali Sheikh to call him. You need to talk to him.
Hey, come on, Turkey. Come on, Turkey. I love you.
Hey, only in Saudi Arabia. Woo! He's going to be waving the Saudi flags, isn't he?
Oh yeah, you already know that.
Yeah. I tell you what, long live the Don. Boy, was he 93 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he just had a birthday not too long ago.
Yep. Congratulations and long live the Don, I tell you what. Oh boy, he's something else, isn't he? And we'll leave it at that, Coach. Number 7, Big James.
Tyson Luke Fury will once again come up short on December 21st when he attempts to avenge his only pro loss to Alexander Usyk. Fact or fiction?
I think that's a fact. I think Usyk has his number. Here's the thing, right? I've been reading about this fight, and I was reading about what they were saying about the corner. That too many people was talking in the corner. They only needed one voice, and that should be Sugar Hill. He should be the only one talking. And this is the other trainers that are talking that everybody was trying to talk to Tyson in the corner, and he was confused. But look, somebody need to tell that to Usyk, because Usyk don't want to hear that. You know, Usyk is going to fight the same fight he did last time. And, you know, if it was any other referee, I think they would have stopped the fight. Because I think they had the right to stop the fight. But they let it go because it was such a high-profile fight. You know, and I understand, you know, when it's a high-profile fight, you let certain things go a little bit too far because you try to give both guys an opportunity. But I tell you, man, that fight could have been stopped. I think it was what the 9th round it was, I believe.
9th round, sir.
Yes, the 9th round. And, you know, Usyk had him going. He was hurt. And Tyson is so much bigger than Usyk, but Usyk is a smart fighter. And I just don't see Tyson try to bully him. The same thing is going to happen like it happened before. So I think Usyk wins.
Well, you were right the first time, Coach. You picked Usyk to win the first fight. Yeah. Now, this is from our dear friend James Gogi, or we're going to hear from him later on this evening. He's going to be after Ronnie or after Rick Glaser. And he stated this past Sunday, right? Coach, he said, look, if I had to give my first impressions on this rematch, Tyson Fury, I think we saw, and the reason why he was so hurt and didn't look all that good after the 9th round, because let's just face it, he never looked that damaged in any fight. Even though he was floored several times by Deontay Wilder, he never looked that bad at any one time against Deontay. And he said that he thinks all of the damage that he's done in between fights, ballooning up in weight, drinking, all the drug use, everything that's happened to him is finally caught up to him, and he can't see him performing any better than he did in the first fight. And he thinks Usyk wins again as well. Your thoughts on what Coach James Gogi had to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, everything he said was true. You know, lifestyle of fighters, man. You know, if you live in a straight line, more than likely, you're going to go far in this sport. But when you deviate your choices, you know, not living right, drinking and smoking and doing all this other stuff, it takes a toll on your body. No matter how you think that, because now you ain't going to do it for 12 weeks or whatever. You're thinking, if I don't do this for 12 weeks or whatever. No, you already done damaged your body. You know, this is the body of a fighter or any athlete is top priority. You know, you have to live it every single day, even when you're not training, even when you're not fighting. You know, you have to take care of your body. And when you don't, it's the wear and tear is ridiculous on your body. And you may have it here, but you lose it everywhere else. Simple as that.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, we're going to find out on December 21st. We're going to find out, guys. And once again, in the immortal words of Teddy Atlas, hey, the truth always reveals itself in that squared circle. And there it is. There it is, guys. We'll find out. The plot thickens. Number 8, Big James.
Jaron Butsinis will once again struggle against Karen. Come on, man. Karen Chubugian.
Hey, I pronounce it Chewbacca. Hey, you got a problem with that? You got a problem with that? Hey, we say Chewbacca in the tri-state area.
Hey, it's Chewbacca. Butsinis will once again struggle against Karen Chewbacca this Saturday, while Jesse Bam Rodriguez will start his latest victim within 10 rounds. Fact or fiction?
Fiction on Boots and fact on Bam.
Hey, do you like the way I spelt Bam right there?
Yeah, I see that.
I'm going to talk to him, and I think he should switch I think he should switch the spelling from now on. Once again, I used to do PR, and you know this, Ronnie.
Mhm.
I think that would be an amazing PR move for BAM! And you could say it in your Ron Simmons voice, James.
Bam!
Woo! So, Coach, explain. Do
Well,
you think since that first Karen Chikatsian fight
right.
that he has added that new wrinkle, he and Bozy, in cutting off the ring and closing the distance more effectively?
Yeah, I think Butcher's going to look sharp in this fight. I really do. And I don't even know much about Kevin Chewbacca. Don't know anything about him.
I'm telling you, brother, it's gonna catch on. People are gonna start calling him Chewbacca.
Well, I'm already doing it, so.
Hey, you know what? Don't
But-
be surprised if you hear Todd Grisham call him Chewbacca this weekend. Okay?
But let me tell you something, man. Boots is everything they say he is. He really is. He's a hard worker. He reminds me of a young Holyfield. Always in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Always, and that pays dividends when you do things like that. You live like a fighter every single day, and this guy does. And it's no joke. It's no acting to it. This is the way he is. I've been knowing his father a very long time, and he always talked about his son when he was even an amateur, how he lives in the gym. So, and this kid he haven't turned away from anything, so I expect him to do big things. And as far as Bam is concerned, Bam is a great fighter. Simple as that. And I just think he needs to stay away from Inoue.
Oh boy. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I'll second that. And I'll even add one to it. I think he needs to stay away from Junto Nakatani as well.
Ooh,
At
that's
118, Coach.
Yeah. That's another good one. Absolutely.
I tell you
Absolutely.
what, Coach, can you see
Mm.
anyone on the horizon beating Junto Nakatani at 18 or 22?
No, not right now. Absolutely not.
How on earth does he continue to make that weight standing almost 5'10"?
I know, man. I don't understand it. He's a freak of nature.
Yep.
He really is. If that's
Can
a
we
freak
say the Japanese Tommy Hearns?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Hey, this kid is really good. He got that power, man. Wow. Absolutely.
And he's got the skills to back it up, man, just
Yes, he
like
does.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Ooh, just like the Hitman. Here, fun fact, kids. Tommy Hearns cannot stand the moniker that Detroit media dubbed him the Motor City Cobra. He hates that. Because when I was working with Emmanuel, I once introduced him as the Motor City Cobra. And after, he pulled me to the side and said, "Don't ever do that again, Joseph." And I promised him I wouldn't ever again. Look, and as Martin Lawrence will prove to you, when Tommy asks you to do something, you don't do it. Dude, you listen and obey when the hitman says something to you. I tell you what, all kidding aside, one of the nicest guys that you will ever meet outside of the ring, but one of the meanest MFers you will ever meet inside the ring. Talk about, Coach, what a competitor Tommy the Hitman Hearns was, man, and how mean he was in the ring and in the gym.
Well, I tell you, Tommy and I fought twice in amateurs. So we have a long history together. And Tommy, man, always a good guy. He was always a guy that, when you see him, he's always give you acknowledgement, except for when he was going to fight you. Then he gave that, turn of the head eye. Like, yeah, you next. I remember the first time I met Emmanuel Stewart was in the tournament that Tommy and I fought in. And I've been hearing a lot about Emmanuel, but I had never met him before. And so when I first met him, the first draw was me and Tommy, and they had never seen me before, so they didn't know anything about me. You know, they didn't know anything about me, and I beat Tommy the first fight. You know, the first time we fought, and I'll never forget this. Emmanuel grabbed me after the fight. He said, "Who in the hell are you? Where you come from?" And I told him, I said, "I'm from Port Arthur, Texas." He said, "Where in the hell is that?" He never heard of Port Arthur, Texas. You know, he said, "That anywhere close to Beaumont?" I said, "Right down the street." So he said, "Okay, but you from where? What's the name of that town?"
Dude, I could
And
totally
so-
hear Manuel. Yep.
Oh yeah. He, you know, he said, "Man, you are so good." He said, "God damn, you beat my star fighter." So
Yep.
he said, "But I got you next time." And the next time we fought, Tommy beat me.
Oh, I tell you what, I would love to see those amateur fights. And, you know, you're absolutely right. And, you know, after that, Emmanuel used to always try to look and search for the next Tommy Hearns. Never found
Oh,
it,
yeah.
though.
No.
Never found it. There's never going to be another Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Boy, he was special. The first ever 5-division world champion, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, man, Tommy is special. Well, and let's move on. We're running out of time here with the coach. Number 9, Big James.
All right, number 9. William Zepeda will be the first man to knock out Tevin Farmer on November 16th, setting the stage for a big fight with Ashakur Hafiz Saeed Stevenson. Fact or fiction?
That's a fact. That could be a fact. I'm
Mm.
gonna go a fact with that one.
So what's with the hesitation, Ronnie?
Well, because, you know, Tevin is getting there. You know, he's been around, but, you know, I just think Zepeda, man, he's just, you know, he's all of that. He really is. He's a good fighter, and Tevin Farmer is like on the downside.
Yeah, honestly, I don't like this style matchup for Tevin.
No,
Not at all.
It's not a good style matchup for him, and
No.
you know, and Zepeda, man, he's such a good fighter, and
Yeah.
this is why he's calling out Shakur, because, you know, he wants to prove himself, but, you know, he realized he has to really look good against a guy like Tevin Farmer, and I think he's just going to show out because he wants that Shakur Stevenson fight.
Yep. And it's going to set the table properly. And
Yeah.
bang, everyone's going to start banging the drums for that big Shakur Stevenson fight, February 22nd, Saudi Arabia. And I tell you what, Coach, while we're on that, who wins, William Zepeda or Shakur Stevenson?
Oh man,
Yeah. Talk about
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly.
yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. You know, I think people, when they look at Shakur, right, they say, "Oh, he's no puncher. He's not the biggest puncher in the world." No, but the IQ in that ring, man. You know, this kid, he's so smart. You know, he makes you fall into traps all the time. You know, he can't hurt you, but he can definitely outpoint you. And, you know, and that goes back to his amateur days. You know,
Mhm.
he was just so smart inside of that ring. And he always beat big punches. He beats them all the time because he's so smart. He knows the ins and outs of the ring. And that takes training. He's a brainiac, man. And he's
Mhm.
tough to beat. But Zepeda, man, he can really fight. I mean, you know, and I think right now for me, it's a toss-up.
Yeah, you know what? And I was just going to say, Coach, yeah, he's seen pretty much everyone in the amateurs and as a pro, except for a style like William Zepeda, because no one has that kind of engine usually.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And if you're a counterpuncher, boy, that kind of volume and pressure can really give you fits.
It gives you a lot of fits. But some kind of way Shakur figures it out. He really does. But with Zepeda being the puncher that he is, you know, and you know, that's going to be tough for him. You know, he's going to have to be on his P's and Q's the whole 12 rounds.
Now, you know what?
Man,
I like it. No, go ahead, James. Your thoughts,
he-
sir.
he's gonna have to be on his P's, Q's, R's, and S's for this. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
And the thing that has me concerned about it is, especially if they're gonna have it like you were saying there, Joe, like February 22nd. This is going to be Shakur Stevenson's, first fight since being out there in July in Newark, right? And the thing is, like Zepeda had a fight that same night. I mean, I was, watching it, while Zepeda was taking care of business against Giovanni Cabrera in the 3 rounds, So
Mhm.
Zepeda has been, fairly active, over the
Yes.
past year and a half or so. And while, Shakur is just coming off of this thing where he's repairing his hand. So I'm really concerned for Shakur Stevenson in that particular front. And the thing is, a lot of the stuff that Shakur gets away with is because of his height, usually, and his reach. He knows how to measure distance with his opponent, but in a lot of cases, his opponent is either at his height or shorter than him. How is he going to be able to utilize that against someone that's taller than him, one, and then two, if you don't have that much pop behind your punch, could probably
Oh,
take
boy.
one or two of those shots in order to give one of his own.
Right.
You know what? And I'll liken it to this. A fight that you were a part of, Coach. I see it playing out almost identically to Erislandy Lara versus Alfredo Angulo.
Right.
Talk about that one, Coach, because that was a fight of the year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, yeah, it was. It was. And the thing about it was we knew what we had to do, in order to beat Angulo. And if you watch Angulo back then, he was all over his feet. So I told Laura, you got to take advantage of that. When you see this guy crossing his feet, just touch him, he's going to go down. And bam, it happened. So, but look, in this case with Regent Zepeda and Shakur, man, it's a bad thing that Shakur didn't get the fight, because now if he has to go directly into this fight, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And because Zepeda now, he'll have 2 fights under his belt, and Shakur nothing. So he just got to depend on training to get him over the top. And sometimes it takes more than that to get you over the top, especially with fighting a rugged guy like William Zepeda.
I'll say this. I'm kind of afraid, because when Turkey Al-Sheikh starts throwing that money at you, and that's the matchup that he wants, it's hard to say no. And I'm just afraid it's going to look maybe eerily similar to Jared Anderson versus Martin Bacoli.
Yeah, that's a good synopsis.
And coulda, shoulda, woulda. But it's hard to. I mean, once again, these guys are fighters, Coach.
Yeah, that's this is what they do.
Yeah.
And like I said, like you said earlier, when Turkey is throwing that money at you like that, because he wants to see the best fights, so he don't mind putting up the money, and I'm sure these guys don't mind making it, but at the same time, it's how you got to make it.
Oh boy, it's a hard way to make a living. I tell you what, though, guys, this is one of the best matchups you can make in boxing. Thank you, Turkey Al-Sheikh. February 22nd, guys, Riyadh season 2025. Thank you. Thank you, boxing. Number 10, our final fact or fiction for the coach, sir.
Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan will change his mind and elect to face Chris Eubank Jr. next year in the UK. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Whoa.
I just don't see this fight doing anything, nowhere. I mean, because look, who knows Eubank Jr.? His last fight, he didn't look good at all.
Yeah.
And it was against somebody he was supposed to destroy.
Yep.
And he didn't, and so you go put that up against Canelo in the UK? I don't think so.
Yeah, Camille Zarameta. Yeah, he's long in the tooth, long past it. And yeah, he struggled at times. He didn't look great at times. And
Look, he did.
yeah, Chingao. And look, but who does he face then, Coach? Who does Canelo face then, realistically?
Well, he could face Jamal Charlo.
Oh, I'm
Ooh.
sorry. What was that, Coach?
He could face Jamal Charlo. That's a good
Well,
name.
that is a great name, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be Dave Morrell Jr.
No.
It's not going to be David Benavidez.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to be Dimitri Bivol again.
Nope.
Nope.
And wait a minute. And people have been asking him about Arthur Beterbiev. Can you imagine that fight happening either?
No.
So I don't see it. Like, honestly, I think that actually makes a very strong argument for us being able to finally see Jermall Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez next year, Cinco de Mayo 2025. What say you, Coach?
I love it. I do. I love it.
Oh, I tell you what, the coach has been waiting for this since the Erislandy Lara fight, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Now, look, we all know that Levi Martinez is working for the IBF now. Have you talked to him about that Erislandy scorecard?
Never.
There's no point, is there?
None.
He knows. He knows. That's why he went and run to Daryl Peoples and stopped judging.
I'm sure he had a great vacation.
I'll never forget, guys, post-fight. Coach Ronnie said, you know what? Stevie Wonder could have called a better fight than Levi Martinez.
And he could have.
And there it is, guys. There it is.
Hey, listen. we gotta push for that. We gotta push for that Jamal fight, because if not, we might see Canelo Alvarez versus Christian and Billy.
I don't see that. Not yet.
No, I'm sorry. What did you say, James?
Christian and Billy.
No, dude. No. Look. And here's the problem, guys. We've run out of ticket sellers at 168 for Canelo. What is he going to have, a rematch with Jaime Munguia?
No.
No one wants to see a rematch with Edgar Hamburger Langa.
Nope.
Diego Pacheco's not ready for that kind of smoke.
Nope.
No.
So hold on. Double L says Canelo versus Janabek. Oh my gosh.
No.
Nope. Dude, honestly, Christian Mbili is a bigger ticket seller. Come on now.
Absolutely.
G Funky says Martin called Tommy the get hit man.
He did.
Dude, that was one of my favorite episodes all time, Martin Lawrence. Double L says boots in under 6. Bet the house. I don't know about that, Coach. But once again, you already said you're not familiar with Chewbacca, are you?
I'm not familiar with him, but but I still think Boots. I don't see nobody beating Boots just right now.
Yeah, I can't see it either. But you know what? Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. This is also being proposed for the same fight card. And this is the last question we're going to throw at you, because we're approaching 90 minutes now. In the co-main event, sir, on that same card, February 22nd, Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz at 154. Who wins and why?
Now, that's a good fight.
Yep.
At 154, that's a great fight.
Yep.
But I would have to go with Boots. I think Boots is smarter. I think Boots would outsmart him. Virgil is good. Don't get me wrong. But I think Boots is too smart. Boots wouldn't let him lure into fights, into exchanges. I think Boots will box him all day long.
Oh, I tell you
I
what.
know.
That sneaky right-handed Virgil Ortiz, though, Coach.
Yeah, but that's the only thing he got. But Bruce got an arsenal of punches that Virgil had to look out for.
And also proposed for that February 22nd card, Coach. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez against Bam Rodriguez.
That's a great fight.
Yeah.
That's a great fight. I think that's a pick'em fight. I really do.
I tell you what. Thank you, Turkey Al Sheikh. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Look.
If he can make that fight, that should be a fight on his own card. It shouldn't be with no other card. Those two fights right there should be separate cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I think Eddie Hearn is trying to keep them together. Though.
Oh boy. James, did I miss anything in these beautiful 90 minutes with our beloved Coach Ronnie?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything there. As far as I know, it's probably a couple of things that's coming up this week. I mean, well, we know about Boots versus Chewbacca and stuff like that, but before close out, I'm gonna pull off a doubleheader. Friday night be Norfolk, Virginia, Keyshawn Davis versus Gustavo Lemos. There and then
oh boy, that's it. Wait a minute, that's this Friday?
Yeah, that's this Friday night.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that. I thought it was hey, well, Coach, do you smell an upset, or is Keyshawn just that good?
Keyshawn is just that good. And look, let me tell you something. Keyshawn is not going to lose at home. I was supposed to be at that fight because I was supposed to have Vito Manicki was supposed to fight on that same card, but Vito got sick, and so we pulled him off, and we put Vito on next year in Madison Square Garden on Valentine's, February the 14th.
There it is. Now let me ask you something, Coach. Now say some parting shots and some comments on the guy who put Norfolk on the map.
His name was Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, the best fighter in the world, the best, bar none. The defense, he had offense, he had everything, and this guy, man, he put Norfolk on the map. People probably had never heard of Norfolk, Virginia before until Pernell Whitaker came on the scene. And then when he won the Olympics in 1984, and when he turned pro, they put all of them on the same card in Norfolk, Virginia. So Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, when he was living, he was the best fighter in the world. And now that he's deceased, he's still the best fighter in the world.
God rest his soul. And I tell you what, fantasy matchup real quick, Coach. Who wins at 35? Sweet Pea Whitaker or Roberto Hands of Stone Duran?
Pernell Whitaker outboxed him all day.
Wow. I tell you what, guys. Yeah, guys, he was that special. And I tell you what, we still miss Sweet Pea Whitaker and all of his splendor in the ring. But that's just about it, guys. Once again, we want to thank Coach Ronnie for all of his time. 93 minutes of glory. I love it, Coach. It's been too long. And I tell you what, your parting shots, we're going to take a little break, guys, but we'll be right back because we've got Adam Lopez, we've got Rick GLASER, we've got Coach James GOGUE. We're going to be on all night, guys, well into the wee hours of the Thursday morning. But, Coach, your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
As always, you can follow me on Instagram at official Ronnie Shields.
Guys, once again, on behalf of Coach Ronnie Shields, I'm Joseph Herron. This is my brother, J.R. Bell. J.R., if you can hang on for a couple minutes while we take a short 20-second intermission. Guys, thank you for being here on War Week Boxing and supporting Coach Ronnie Shields.
Ventures proudly presents living legend and elite level trainer, Ronnie Shields.
Well, guys, I tell you what, we are in it for the long haul, and let me explain this, guys. Once again, we were supposed to be on last night for our election coverage, and we were also going to have everyone here who's going to be on tonight, as well as this is an official post-election now fundraiser for my son's band. We're going to put him on tour next year, and we want to thank also Affordable Dentures for coming through and sponsoring my son's band, Roshi, but they're only able to furnish a portion of the proceeds that it's going to take. So, guys, if you can, please donate to the Roshi cause, my son's band, and you can send that to $War a Week via Cash App. Thank you, guys. God bless you. And thank you for hanging with us and being here. JR, I tell you what, in my opinion, just fast forwarding, looking at this weekend's matchups on Friday, and you're going to be there live. You've already been credentialed by Top Rank, right?
Yeah, pretty much being credentialed by Top Rank, reference to that fight card, and it's a really, really good fight card. We had, like a couple of, you had Coach Ronnie talk about the thing there with Vito. You also, could have had Brian Norman Jr. on the card, but that didn't necessarily, come to fruition. But, even then, there's still like a number of great fighters, great young fighters that will be part of this card that'll be featured there. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I tell you what, look, I know this is going to be a very unpopular take, but I'm going to say it. I think Keyshawn gets upset at the hands of the tenacious and heavy-handed Gustavo Lemos this Friday. I don't like this fight for Keyshawn. I know everyone else seems to think that he's going to come through in flying colors and give this kid a boxing lesson. I don't think so. I think he gets his chin tested for the very first time in his career in a very severe manner. And I think he loses either by decision or late round stoppage. That's what I think. And it just, but he needs this. He needs these kind of fights to see where he is in the pecking order of 135, just like we saw Floyd Schofield. We know exactly where he is right now at 135 pounds, and that's not in the top 10. Look, we saw Raymond Murataya the same night, right? And he looked outstanding, but once again, styles make fights. He didn't look great against Devin Farmer. He didn't look great in his fight before that. But against this kid that he fought and beat up severely, getting the vicious knockout. I don't like this style matchup, brother, for Keyshawn Davis. I don't. Your thoughts?
Wow. That is now.
I know. I know.
Woo.
I know people think it's going to be sacrilegious when I say this, but I don't care. I have this feeling. Now, once again, Coach, the late great Don Chargan, the guy who taught me this business, Mr. War a Week, right? He told me this. Joseph, don't get too high on a prospect until you see how well he can take a punch. And he's never fought anyone who's going to bring it like Gustavo Lemos, right? Just ask Richardson Hitchens.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at 140.
Yeah. I get you. Watch the thing with the press conference that took place earlier today. And you had Carl Moretti out there, of course, who's one of the leading guys there in Top Rank. And the way that, he kind of put it was that, one, for Keyshawn Davis to have like a headlining bout in his hometown in his 12th professional fight, that's something there. At 25 years old, 12th professional fight, headlining in your hometown like that is something. The other thing is that talking with other people around the, organization, like having it where it is mainly for nostalgic purposes, because over 30 years ago, you had Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker take on Buddy McGirt in that same arena, Scope Arena.
Yep.
Right? But I was told that they could have had this in a larger venue and it would have still sold out.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
So for them to have this type of event and have that much interest in it, it is great. And I'm looking forward to seeing, all three brothers in action. But I do understand your concern in reference to this particular fight, of course, with Gustavo Lemos. But the thing is like from a matchmaking perspective for Keyshawn, this is about the only way that he could have gone. You face a Jose Pedraza, you face a Miguel Madueño, and you face a Gustavo Lemos. Those are the type of guys that kind of give you that type of style. Rough, rugged will come forward, not necessarily go down quickly, so to speak. So it kind of like would go into the skill level and the skill set of Keyshawn Davis in this one. And I mean, I'm looking at that and saying, hey, this is something where Keyshawn Davis is, really ready for a moment like this, and really ready to shine. I think Coach Bomack will have him, really prepared for it. It's just, as you said, like, how is he going to be able to respond to getting hit with a good shot from Gustavo Lemos?
You know what, brother? And I didn't want to mention this while Coach Ronnie was on the show, but I am getting vibes of the late, great Vernon Forrest, in which Coach Ronnie was training him against Ricardo Mayorga.
Oh, I mean, we'll see.
Where he had all the fanfare. He just signed that long contract, that big contract with HBO. He was coming off of that second fight with Sugar Shane Mosley and viewed as a top pound-for-pound guy.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Style matchup. Mayorga just had the style that, Vernon Forrest just couldn't, really completely adapt to. So
I also get flashbacks of another Argentine, Victor Ortiz, when he was supposed to be the next golden boy against Marcos Maidana, who is currently the manager of Gustavo Lemos. What happened?
Oh, man, he got busted up. Oh.
Brother, look, I'm afraid, and I know Keyshawn Davis has the tools, has the skill, but just like those two fights that I pointed out, he's got too much dog in him at times, and I don't know. I don't know if he has the engine also to handle that kind of pressure for 10, 12 rounds. I'm not getting a good feeling about this, guys.
It's scheduled for 10, and you brought up another good point there in reference to Keyshawn Davis. Like he is a dog. That I've said that particularly in his last fight that he had in Newark.
Yep.
That he kind of revels in that type of stuff where he wants to show like how tough he is, how he could like fight with a fighter, and there's got to be times where he's got to be able to scale that back a little bit. Yep. But in my instance, especially with the Miguel Madueño fight, was that when I saw that, I became more of a fan of him because yes, he does have that style where he could box very well, but also he could say, you know what, I could go to another gear and I could, push to say, hey, I want to finish off this fighter. And you want to have that ability to, mix it up with boxing skill, and have the ability to finish off your opponent. And so I got to see if he's able to, kind of hone that all in and bring it together against Gustavo Lemos on Friday night.
Oh boy, we're gonna find out, guys. Once again, the truth always reveals itself in that squared circle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my word! I tell you what, though, Big James, are you ready, brother, for another edition of Terrible Fantics on Twitter/X?
All right, one more, and then.
Yep. There it is. Hold on, I need to get your take on. Oh boy, here we go, man. This is just all kinds of bad, and care of our dear friends, and I use that lightly from the Boxing Voice, right? So here we go, man. Oh boy. Let me ask you, James. Yeah. Let me know when you can see this, brother.
All right. Load up here in a bit. Let me ask you something.
Hey, let me ask you. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now, once upon a time, you was in the front of the line, and now, in terms of accolades, you're behind Spence. You're behind Danny. You're behind Porter. Porter is a two-time champ. Thurman is a two-time champ because he unified. He's not a two-division champ. He's not a two-time champ for losing his belt or being stripped of all of them and winning them again. He hasn't won a belt since the young Thurman. Like, he's behind everybody right now. He's certainly behind fucking Bud. Like, once upon a time, he was leading the pack. He was the number one welterweight. And now he's the number one prone welterweight.
Your thoughts on that, brother? Because honestly, Sean Porter and and Danny Garcia, do you actually view Keith Thurman as not being on that level? Like, honestly, what are we talking about here? James, where do you even start with that kind of logic?
I wouldn't even call it logic from him in reference to that.
Yeah. And there it is.
The thing is, Keith Thurman defeated Danny Garcia. Keith Thurman defeated Sean Porter. So just off that, he's above both of them. That's for sure.
Boy.
Okay. The Errol Spence thing, I mean, that's, between them two, and, everyone knows in reference to Errol Spence, that he, like, it could take the biggest purse, it could be probably bigger than what he was, paid to fight Terrence Crawford for the undisputed welterweight titles. Errol Spence still wouldn't fight Keith Thurman. Okay, so I wouldn't even, bring that up. And the thing about it is that, okay, Keith Thurman has been inactive for, some time and all of that, right? But there's been a couple of instances where he was set up for fights and he just had tough breaks. I mean, even this year, he was scheduled to be the opponent for Tim Tszyu on March 30th.
Mm-hmm.
But just came down with an injury. So he wasn't able to make that. So now it's like, okay, maybe you'll have something in line for next year. Who knows? Or maybe, just maybe, they could line him up for maybe to have that fight with Tim Tszyu, especially after what happened. But the thing about it is, with Tim Tszyu and what happened to him,
No. I will say this. I will say this. What I think, and before we let you go, and thank you, James, once again, for all of your talents, loaning us all of your talents tonight, and helping me co-host Ronnie Shields' show. Here's the matchup that I want to see, and you know what? I'm going to write an article about this. Errol Spence Jr. instead of Fundora fighting Keith Thurman. Finally, the long-awaited welterweight matchup that we never got to see, but this time at 54, Errol Spence Jr. versus Keith Thurman. What say you, and how does it play out?
I mean, like I said, listen, you could offer Errol Spence $15 million and have it be held potentially at AT&T Stadium, and he still would pick Keith.
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, look, he's more injury prone than both Arthur Beterbiev and Vitaly Klitschko put together.
Now,
Chingao, dude.
Now, the thing about it is, though, I will say this. If the fight happened, and I wouldn't have said this beforehand, but I would pick Keith Thurman.
You know what, brother? I would too. Let's just face it. The only thing we have to go by is what we saw over 2 years ago against Mario Barrios, the current WBC champ, and he looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was telling everyone, hey, don't be surprised. Don't sleep on Keith Thurman against Tim Tszyu. I actually like Keith Thurman going into that fight. Of course, we didn't see how it played out, but knowing what you know now about Tim Tszyu, yeah, I feel vindicated. Guys, I said it, and I'm saying it now. He would stop Errol Spence Jr. within the distance if he made it to the ring. And I don't think he does ever again.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there it is, and there is our latest. Hold on. There is our latest.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
With that said, Big James, I appreciate you being on here, brother. God bless you, my friend. And you're going to be in my prayers, brother. God bless you. And I'll be talking to you very soon. But thank you for loaning us your talents, my friend.
Well, look, Joe. Sleepy Joe.
Woo!
Thank you because you're a great guy. You know, you're a great guy. And just for that, I'll make an executive order.
Oh, I tell you what, man. Happy Trump Day to everybody, including you, Big James. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for everything, brother.
Have a good one, and be sure, everyone that's listening right now, just be sure to help out with Brother Joseph here and with this fundraiser for his son's band, and contribute to the Cash App there at $War Week.
Thank you, Big James. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for everything that you do, brother. And we will look for you ringside at the Top Rank event this Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. You know what? Oh, I hate when I have feelings like this, but you know what, brother? It is just screaming at me for some reason.
Yeah,
We'll look, and we're gonna ask our next guest, Rick GLASER, who's in the queue at this time. Woo! Big Rick, how art thou, my friend?
Good, Joe. Fire away. We got a quick half hour here. I'm rip roaring, ready to go.
Yeah.
I want to tear off heads and shit necks. I'm like Donald Trump. I want to tear off heads and shit necks.
I love it. I tell you what. We're gonna start. Hold on. Let me cue this up real quick. I have to do this right now. We're gonna cue this up, guys, and
maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick GLASER's Twitter watch. Bang!
And there it is, guys. And you stated this at just about an hour ago. And you stated this. I was asked about being so mean-spirited in regards to both Steven Espinosa and Lou DiBella. Totally two different situations, but those two woke far-left liberals need to be grouped together as misery loves company. # boxing. And I guess this is your time to gloat, Big Rick. So
when you look like those two, it's always time for me to gloat.
Yeah, I love it. And so what are the two separate situations, Big Rick? If you can if you can.
No. The Bella stiffed me out of 7,500 back in 2010. And he's been paying for it ever since. And the other guy's just a fucking complete jackoff. Fucking Stephen Espinosa runs around calling me. He discovered the fact that I'm a felon. I said, "What are you, the only jackoff in the world that doesn't know it?" I came into boxing announcing it. I announce it all the time.
Oh,
I don't hide that. He acted like it was he discovered this, that I'm a felon. The fuck. I told him the only difference between you and me, Stephen, is I said, I'm already a felon. Your day's coming.
Oh, wow. Holy shit. Well, I tell you what. What is he trying to say? Something that there are no convicted felons who participate in boxing?
Yeah, about 85%. And the other ones that aren't convicted will be eventually.
And there it is. And there it is. I tell you what, thank you, Big Rick, for being here, my friend. And so we're going to keep going, guys. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Here we go. Let's go back in time a little bit, right? Because it looks like all of your latest tweets have been all about the election. And once again, guys, I told you guys that this was going to be the worst Democrat showing since Michael Dukakis in 1988. And what happened?
Yep.
What happened? And there it is, guys. Now, look, I'm going to say this as much as it pains me. And you made this tweet 3 days ago. And this has nothing to do with boxing or Donald Trump. You said this. The Dallas Cowboys were losers again today. Now 3-5 on the season. Cowboys fans have to be fed up with owner Jerry Jones making football decisions. That's not good. Old Jerry needs to leave the football decisions to football minds. That's only common sense. Hashtag NFL. Why, Rick? I just have to ask you why, brother. Why would you do that to me, man?
Well, look what happened to the Washington Redskins. They had Daniel Snyder being general manager or president of football operations and the owner, and they sucked. They get rid of him, and now they're what, 7-2 or some fucking thing?
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Right? Because they got an owner that's not interfering with football decisions.
Yeah.
There's no correlation between having money and digging oil and having money or being in technology and having money and then trying to buy a football team and you're supposed to be knowledgeable because you're the owner. It doesn't work like that.
Oh, jeez. Well, I tell you what, enough about my terrible Cowboys because they truly are terrible, guys.
Yeah, they are.
And you've got the highest paid player in the league behind center, and he just doesn't seem to have it between the ears. And there it is. There it is. So let's move on, guys. And this was another tweet from Big Rick on November 24th, 6:06
November 24th?
November 24th. Yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. November 3rd, 2024. Right. My apologies. Right. Sorry about that. He said this, Floyd Schofield Jr. versus Rene Tejas was an excellent fight in the zone that was scored way too widely, as those scorecards were clearly not an indication of the give-and-take action that boxing enthusiasts saw. Yes, Schofield won legitimately, but not at that wide margin. And the identical same thing happened in the co-feature. Beck the Bully won over David Stevens, but not by those ridiculous scores that the judges had. The Nevada State Athletic Commission need to clean up their act, starting by taking accountability by recognizing that there is indeed a problem. A great night of boxing with very competitive fights, and the scorecards are always supposed to indicate that. Enjoy your Sunday. Look, first of all, I'm gonna talk about both fights, but first of all, your thoughts on Floyd Schofield's toughest test to date.
Well, he's got balls, but the way he fights, he's got to have balls. I mean, he's got to be smoother. He's not putting it all together. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got boxing ability. He's got good balance. And then all of a sudden, he looks like a dog taking a piss at a fire hydrant. It's the weirdest shit. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Wow.
He rushes in at times. I mean, Ronnie Shields is just window dressing here. is what it amounts to, and it's sad. It's sad. The father's training the kid, not Ronnie. So it's pretty
Of
sad.
course. Yeah, I knew what you meant. And yeah, what is it going to take? What is
Yeah,
it
I
going
don't
to take?
know. Probably a loss by the kid.
And that will
Where
be
the
a
kids
damn
lay,
shame.
where the kids laid on the canvas and his toes are up and they're quivering, his eyes are shut. One of those. And I like the kid too, but Jesus Christ, they got that team's got to get their shit together. He come back to the corner, went to sit in the stool. The stool wasn't even in the corner.
Oh boy.
He fell
Yeah.
right on the canvas. He fell.
Yeah. That's
Not
not a good
good.
look. Not a
No,
good look.
no.
And so where would you put Floyd Schofield Jr. right now in the pecking order of the 35 division, the very talented
Well,
rich 35 division?
remember something. He's a lot younger than everybody else. I mean, Schofield just turned 21 or 22, I think. And, like the other guys, like 27 and up, what's his name? I don't know what Shakur, he's like 28 or 29. Tank's like 30 or 31. So he's behind those guys, but he's right in there. It's probably this, he's behind William Cepeda. But he's the youngest guy by far. He's the youngest guy probably by 4 or 5 years. So when he's early at his own career, I think that was the 18th fight. So I think that he's on his way. He needs to clean up his act. He needs to garner more experience, and he needs to get some of the rough edges off and become a little smoother in there and use his brain more than his head.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And well, congratulations nonetheless. But yeah, we spoke with Coach Ronnie before your show, and he said, I think his dad finally realizes after this that, yeah, he has to start training full time at Sugarland instead of the Davies gym. And look, it's a difference in levels in terms of preparation. Who's he going to spar with in San Antonio compared to Houston, Texas, Rick?
Well, that's true. You could say that about any city. You know what I'm saying? I mean, realistically, you go from one city, one gym to the other, and I'm sure there's a lot better work at Ronnie Shields' gym than there would be some gym in San Antonio run by Cameron Davies.
That's it.
So I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So what is the problem? What is the problem?
Their father's ego. The father's ego and pride. His father's ego and pride is what the problem is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hold on. We want to welcome my brother in Christ, Alberto. Welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for supporting Big Rick on this day. And he says, Rick, how did you celebrate after last night's festivities?
I really didn't celebrate. I just kept watching the states pop up for turning red, popping up red. And it took me into the middle of the night, and then I decided to just go to sleep. And I woke up at 4 o'clock. It was about 1:32, and I woke up at 4, and Trump was like, I don't know, some kind of higher score than when I went to bed. And it was still there's still three states outstanding. I mean, he won, but does he end up with like 312, or is he? Looks like he's gonna end up with 312. It's a landslide. He's gonna win the House, the Senate, the White House. He's got the Supreme Court already. He's gonna have the FBI, the Justice Department. This guy's gonna be like the mafia.
Yep. I tell you what, the dark MAGA mafia. And I tell you what, guys, and thanks be to God. That's all I have to say. And look, I wasn't gonna say anything about this until I saw that Cowboys tweet. So Outlaw, welcome to the show, sir. And he says this: Slick Rick, how about those Dodgers?
They were great. They deserved to win. The Yankees did not deserve to win, and I saw so many errors and mistakes through base running and defensive mistakes, offensive mistakes by the Yankees. They didn't deserve to win. The Dodgers did a fabulous job, and congratulations to the Dodgers. So,
yeah, congratulations to the Dodgers, and once again, what happened to Aaron Judge, man? He was the Dak Prescott of the Yankees during the World Series.
But you could say that about he did better than fucking Otani. Otani didn't do a fucking thing. He was like 1 for 15. At least Judge had a home run and had some other hits. I mean, Otani's team happened to win, so the heat was off of him. But he was way worse than Judge.
Well, I will say this, though. That fan who had the sign that said, Freddie, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, Freddie Freeman. Oh, jeez. Look. Like, before we move forward also, my brother JD Spades, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting Big Rick on this day. And he says, betting odds, Keyshawn Davis, a 6-1 betting favorite, and Gustavo Lemos, 4-1 betting underdog. Rick, are they a little too wide, or do you agree with that?
Way
leading
too
up
wide.
to the Friday night.
Way too wide.
Ooh. Rick, Brad Goodman, boy, throwing down the solid litmus test. Is it going to prove to be a nightmare, or his coming out party?
It's definitely a tough fight. Lemos is a tough, but he was tough at 140. Now he's fighting at 35.
Yep. I don't know about this one, Rick. If you had to make a prognostication pre-fight, what would it be?
Keyshawn in a really rough fight and gets squeaks by with a decision in his own hometown.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? Oh, boy. Yeah, this is a really tough assignment, guys. And look, I'm not getting a warm fuzzy about this. And honestly, Brad Goodman, you rascal, the best matchmaker in boxing, though, at this time. Now, Rick, you've got some news about a new app that you're going to be working with, a new company?
Yeah.
Would you like to expound on that, sir?
Why don't you read the tweet, and then we'll go from there. How's that?
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to find it right now.
And I put it up Monday.
Oh, is it Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Oh shoot! Hold on. I'm trying to look. Let's see. It was after the Cowboys tweet, right?
Right.
Shingo. There it is. It's now official. Now, he stated this once again Monday, the 4th. He said, it's now official. I'm proud to announce a long-term deal with an all-new revolutionary sports platform, Nothing But Sports, that will debut in July of 2025. It'll be free for all consumers worldwide and will include 18 to 24 live boxing events a year, administered by GLASERboxing.com, including acquiring all boxing content and quality control. In other words, I'm tasked with making this great. Remember, Nothing But Sports will be totally free by just becoming a subscriber. It'll be that simple to watch free quality boxing, as my stamp of approval will be on all Nothing But Sports boxing events. More details to follow. First quarter 2025. Nothing But Sports is only sports. Congratulations, first of all, Big Rick. We love that you're going to be. Now, I know you're not going to like this comparison, but you will be what Lou DiBella was for HBO boxing.
And no, not really, because he was he was an employee there. I'm not an employee. They are contracting with my company, GLASERboxing.com. And I'm still going to do all the business I've been doing for years. And it's just another client, number 55.
Yeah. So how much is their budget? If you don't, can you actually disclose that at this time?
I can't disclose it. But it's gonna be a combination of pro box fights and show box fights. So like the main event may be 2 undefeated guys. The co-feature may be 2 undefeated guys, or it may be the main event may be a former world champion, a former top contender, making not making a comeback, but he had come off a loss and he's got to try to regroup, and I'm going to put him in with somebody that's going to give him all he can handle. And then the co-feature will be it'll be the guarantee is 2 10-rounders and a 4-rounder everybody will see. Okay. Now, if you're the promoter of the show, I give you a show and you come up with 5 good fights, I'm going to put your 5 good fights on the TV. But you have to have 3 good fights minimum, a 10, and a 4.
Well, so this is going to be, and once again, Don always taught me this, and this is the way we handle our shows here in San Antonio. We don't sign any fighters to any contracts because that ultimately ties your hands into putting them in tough 50-50 matchups.
Well, just keep in mind that we're not being a promoter. We're dwelling the shows out to promoters. We're not promoting this. In other words, we are the streaming worldwide streaming distribution service. So I'm going to be contracting with promoters to put on the shows and give them a rights fee and everything else. And so whatever comes in at the best dollar for the best versus the best fights, that's what's going to happen.
So it's basically going to be like the old Friday night fights.
Friday night fights. It's going to be like USA Network, Showbox, Pro Box. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's going to be great. Congratulations, Rick. And I tell you what.
Yeah, we're going to do there's going to be 2 different series. It's going to be a once a month show that's going to be core boxing in America. And then once a month, we're going to pipe in a big fight from overseas, a world title fight. Maybe it's an obscure fight, but I know it's going to be a good one based on their styles and legitimate world title fight. And I will be piping it in for a world championship boxing event, and it's and some of their undercard fights. So it'll be 2 different series on the same network. One will be homegrown, and then the other one will be imported internationally into the U.S.
Wow. And yeah, I tell you what, I can't wait. And that's exactly what boxing needs in the American market. Another outlet, guys. The more the merrier. And I tell you what, yeah, this is going to be tremendous, guys. Hold on. Who will they have as announcers? Joe? I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind. I'll put my name in the hat. Woo! And there it is, guys. And there it is. I'll tell you what, hold on. G Funky says, when you have a show on the West Coast, I'll be there. And we know you will, G Funky. We appreciate you being here, man, and supporting Big Rick on this day. And says, Big Rick is putting on multiple shows next year. Yes, yes. You said between about 25, you said?
24 shows, 12 of each series. Yep.
Very good. Very good. I tell you what, also, our brother in Christ, Alberto says, Joe, can you ask Big Rick what his thoughts are on the reported struggling ticket sales to Paul versus Tyson? I thought Jake moved the needle. So did I. I know Tyson does. What's going on with that, Rick? Do you know anything that we don't?
I just know that the ticket sales are horrible, is what I'm told by a very good source. And it's, it's just so, I don't know. It's just, there's a Jewish word for it, Yiddish word, dreck, means shit. So it's dreck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? And it's not for a lack of having a great prelim card, because I really like the prelim.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So are you ready for this farce on Friday the 15th, sir?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for any farce. I don't get Netflix, and it's not going to cause me to get it. And I that's my 11th anniversary of my marriage to my lovely wife, and she's still with me to celebrate it. And we'll be celebrating that night in Atlanta, Georgia. That's what we'll be. We're going to Atlanta, Georgia on Wednesday the 13th until Monday the 18th, and then Monday the 18th I fly to LA for the whole week for business meetings, and then I'm probably I don't know if I'm going to fly back. And that's Friday the 22nd or Saturday the 23rd. I ain't decided yet.
Well, I tell you what, brother, congratulations on both fronts on your new assignment and your new task, your new duties for Nothing But Sports, as well as your anniversary, my friend. God bless you, brother. And I tell you what, let's see. Do you guys want to hear some more tweets about Donald Trump and the election? Because I sure do. So let's go, guys. Once again, this is beautiful. You stated this on today at 7:59 a.m. this morning. You stated this: America is definitely ready for a woman president, just not Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton. Candace Owens will become America's first woman president. She's black, young, extremely intelligent, outspoken yet classy, and a conservative Republican. When she's ready, she will have my undivided support. Would make a great running mate for J.D. Vance in 2028. Remember the name, Candace Owens. She is in America's future. Well, I'll say this. I love Candace Owens. I think she is great. And once again, I'm a little biased because I'm conservative.
Right.
But do you really think she has aspirations for running?
I don't know if she does, but she would make a great. I think she would be a fantastic president. I think she's very bright. I know she's only 35 years old, so she's learning. And she's got a lot of time. Let's just say Vance wins and she's vice president, and Vance wins a second term. That's 8 years. That takes her up. And you take 4 years from now, that's 12 years. She's only 47 years old at that time. I mean,
that is true.
Yeah, I mean, she's the real deal. I'm convinced of that. I've listened to this woman. I just think there's just nothing negative about her. She's nice looking. She's pleasant. She's very, very takes herself very seriously. I think she's no joke. She's very, very sharp. I have nothing but respect for her. I've never met the woman. I've never met her, but I've listened to her for many hours, and I'm very impressed.
Yep. I also like the way she handled Don Lemon. That was beautiful. And
that's not hard. That's not hard.
No, it's not hard. But nonetheless, G Funky says, yeah, Candace is great, but I like Tulsi Gabbard better.
Well, I do like her too, but it's hard to sell conservative Republicans on a woman that used to be a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Right?
That is true. That is true, guys. And yeah, that he has a point. Where Candace has been consistent, not only in her political views, but as well as her faith. Also.
Right.
Yep. And Jesus Sam, oh boy, tell you what, the wet blanket. He says presidential elections are rigged, predetermined, controlled by the powers that be. People voting are masking it. Well, look, did you pay attention to anything that was going on in the lead up to this election? Because we just proved, guys, anyone who voted for Trump just proved that elections are not rigged. They can try all they want, the chicanery and tomfoolery, but if you make it to a point where the people have spoken loudly and clearly, they cannot rig it. And there it is. Last night was proof, guys. Anything more to say about last night's festivities on Donald Trump?
Well, I think it was a referendum on people with common core values and common sense rejecting the liberal elites' agendas. That's really what it was. It wasn't Donald Trump beating Kamala Harris. It was America rejecting it was a referendum rejecting the elite left. You know, that's just what it was. That's why I look at it.
There it is. And I think you're right on the money, my friend. I think you're right on the money. And look, let's go back to your tweets. And we have about 6 minutes left with you, sir. And I want to thank you for being here. And this one's good. And this is back on November 1st. You said on October 24th, I said that December 14th, Tank Davis Lamont Roach was in serious trouble and could get canceled. On a second tweet a day later, I said it was canceled. Gervonta Davis said I was wrong, and YouTubers like Fanon Boxing jumped on it and started with their latest hate campaign on me. Well, since it's officially off for now and may not get rescheduled, There has not even been one single apology from any of the naysayers, such as Fanon. That guy is a jerk off, and anyone who listens to that full show should definitely question their own intelligence. #boxing. Here, here, brother. I will second that. I will second that regarding that suck-up buffoon who doesn't
Yeah,
know
the funny
shit
part about it
boxing.
was when I said it was off, Tank said it was on. I said, no, it's off, you fucking boy. Yo, Tank should know he's the fighter. I said, yeah, you'll see. Boom, off.
Yeah. Yep. Well, here's the sad thing, though. And once again, we asked Coach Ronnie about this earlier. And yeah, he said he has no idea what the status is currently on Al Heyman, but he does know that infection is a very serious thing and it's bad. So what's the latest on Al Heyman that you've heard? And let's just be honest, Rick. If Al Heyman is not there, should we anticipate any events from PBC happening?
They're not exactly set up to move forward out Al Heyman. Listen, Al's alive as of right now. He's they're trying to get his health in line with what I'm told, and they're having difficulties. But we'll see.
Now, look, Alberto, you already know the answer to this, my friend, and you already know how I feel about this, but we'll ask Rick. Alberto says, was the Tank fight a venue issue, like Dan Raphael was saying?
No. Dan Raphael's full of shit.
Oh yeah, he's so full of shit.
When guys say stupid things like that, tell them to go as his thumb is suck it.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid bastards.
So, man, let's clear this up. What is your beef with the fat man? I know what mine is.
He's a fucking idiot.
But is that all it is? Because there are a lot of idiots in this business.
No, he's done tried to do some personal shit to me over the years, business wise, directly at me. And he's a real fucking jack of it,
And
jealous of my success.
Well, you know what? I can't argue with any of that because yes, he is a jerk off, guys. And he's an asshole.
Listen,
he genuinely is an asshole.
Real quick. Okay. I'm not a PBC guy. Okay. Ronnie Shields a PBC guy. But if you ask Ronnie Shields about my boxing mind and my abilities, what would he tell you? What has he told you?
Well, look, and look, he's told me this and everyone has. And look, just from knowing you, and I agree with everything. And they're like, look, no one is in this business as long as Rick has been without having serious skills and attributes. And Ronnie's like, yeah, Rick is a stand-up guy and he knows what he's doing. That's why everyone works with him.
That's right. Everybody with PBC. I pick my clients. They don't pick me.
That's it.
Everybody wants to do business with me.
So tell us what's on the agenda and who do you like this weekend? Does Jaron Boots Ennis, does he look better in the rematch with Karen Chikatsian?
I would say so. He's more athletic, so he has more ways to improve. So he should look better than he did the last time.
Yep. There it is. But here's the big thing. Why is Bam Rodriguez still fighting everywhere else but San Antonio, Rick?
I have no idea why he fights in Phoenix. I don't get that whole thing. I just don't understand it. He's promoted well to a certain extent, but then he's mispromoted to a bigger extent.
Yeah. Chingao. Look, I'm gonna. Rick, did you have a hand in putting together any of these matchups on Latin Night Riyadh season coming up on the 16th?
No, I did not. Nope, they're all in-house fights. The other one was the two promoters getting together in the main event, and in that unification bout. I did not. I put the guy in with Schofield the other night, Renee Tellez Guillen. I put him in, and I made a 6-rounder on the undercard just to help him out.
Tell you what, man, that was a great fight, and in that co-main event, David Stevens. Wow. Ronnie getting the most out of his guy, taking on Beck the
I'll be
Bully.
honest with you. I thought he won 115, 113. I thought the scores, I thought he got robbed, but even if you thought the other guy won, which is possible, it was a close fight. It was not 118, 109, shit like that. Oh my God almighty. What were they watching?
That was terrible. That was terrible. And yes, I too thought David Stevens did enough to win 7 rounds to 5. Or 7 rounds to 5.
Yep.
And Ronnie was genuinely pissed about that.
I would be too.
Yeah. So what is the have you heard anything about the future of David Stevens, Mike Miller's fighter, and Coach Ronnie's fighter?
I
Golden
think
Boy moving forward.
I think he'll end up fighting Darius Fulgham.
Wow, Darius Fulgham. Oh, they're stable partners though. They like Darius Fulgham.
Yeah,
actually
I know.
helped
I know
David
they're
Stevens.
friends. I know they're
Yeah.
friends, but you know what? Sometimes friends fight friends.
Yeah. Well, this is a business. So
Yeah.
before we let you go, very quickly, is this Jose Ramirez's last fight against Arnold Barbosa on November 16th, sir?
No. No matter what happens, they'll fight again.
Oh boy, but should he?
Yeah. He's not. Unless he looks completely shot. We'll see.
And there it is. Now, last one. Double L says, how do you like this matchup, Rick? Put David Stevens in there with Jesse Hart.
Who's gonna pay for that? The fuck?
Woo! And on that note, Rick, thank you for being a part of this show once again, brother. And
I don't know anybody pay for that fight. Who's gonna pay for that shit? Jesus Christ. Come up with some ingenuity. That's why I do what I do.
And there it is. There it is, brother. Once again, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
No.
And there it is. Big Rick, thank you for being on the program, sir. God bless you, man. And hey, enjoy your victory lap in calling the red wave, brother.
Thank you very much. And I'll continue to call fights, political races, and continue to be better looking and classier than Steven Espinosa and Lou DiBella. Those too far left liberal bastards. Fuck them.
Woo! I love it. Just for that, thank you, Rick. We're gonna play this.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glazer's Twitter watch. Bing!
Rick, thank you very much for being on, brother. And guys, we're gonna take a short break. And I'm just going to play a brief intermission while we do. And I will be back in about a minute and a half. God bless all of you. Thank you for hanging with me. We still have a lot of boxing to talk about and a lot of things to discuss. And once again, guys, if you can, please donate to my my sonny's fundraiser at $WA.W on Cash App. And guys, anything would be of greatly appreciated. Once again, we're trying to put my son on tour. And this event is an official Roshi post-election fundraiser. God bless all of you guys. I will be back in a jiffy.
How you doing? You too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glazer.
Hey, thank you, Brother Sly. We appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, guys. And if you guys would like to join me, we've got about 30 minutes until Coach GOGUE joins us. So if you guys have your headphones, jump on and let's chop it up and talk about this weekend's events, as well as the events coming up on the boxing calendar, or anything that's transpired, or any kind of boxing news, guys. Or I still have some terrible fan takes that I haven't yet posted. So, guys, if you want to come on board and chop it up, I'll be more than happy to do that. Or if you guys just want to talk about politics and the election, and because once again, I do have a prophetic message from the Holy Spirit that I would like to talk about a little bit later on in the show. But and G Funky, is my microphone still too hot? Let me know, brother. Let me know if, because I tried to adjust it, and I don't know, because I just got a new computer, and the mic right now is a little hot right now on it. So anyway, let me know, brother, how it sounds, and I tell you what. But yeah, we've got about 30 minutes before we get Coach GOGUE on the show. So, guys, I tell you what, we want to thank you for joining us this evening. And I tell you what, thank you, G Funky. I appreciate it, my brother. And thank you for the heads up, man. And I appreciate you having that musician's ear. Yeah. And understanding that the gain was a little too high. Let's see. Let me just send a message here real quick to somebody. Okay, got it. I tell you what, guys. In my opinion, guys, something has to be done about the IBF. They're a pain in the ass. They're a huge pain in the ass. To be honest, look, they're trying to order Bacoli and Ajit Gabriel, right? Why? And they're trying to order also Arthur Beterbiev to fight a guy with only 13 pro fights, right? For his mandatory title challenge, right? For Arthur Beterbiev. And look, from what I was just told, that, yeah, they're going to go ahead and ditch the title and move forward with the rematch, which is what they should do. So why is IBF doing this? Like, and also when you look at their rankings, how do they even determine their rankings? You got guys who aren't even in the top 10 of the specific division, the relative division. And they're the mandatory challenger? How the hell do they rationalize that? Something has to be done about this, guys. Should we even stop recognizing the IBF as a major world title at this point? Because honestly, I don't care. It's matchups. Then once again, think about this, guys. What did we just see in Australia? Wasting our time, showing us a mismatch for Janabek Ali Manala. That guy didn't deserve to be in the same ring as Janabek, right? So what the hell are we even, why do we even recognize the IBF at this point? Guys, in my opinion, either they shape up or ship out. I'm tired of it. I'm petitioning from this point forward that unless they start making more respectable rankings and quit being assholes, trying to shove their bullshit matchups, their bullshit mandatory challengers down our throats and force these guys to put together these mismatches until they stop it, I'm going to stop recognizing the IBF as a major world title. And I won't mention the IBF anymore. That's how I feel. What say you guys? Because I tell you what, I've had enough. Daryl Peoples, and then once again, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to adhere to their bylaws, but it's shit at this point. It's absolute shit, guys. Ching Yao. JumpTube said, yeah, these guys are taking too long to make these fights. It took them 9 months. Well, it's not going to take them another 9 months. That's bullshit. It's going to be sooner than that. Or else they're going to have to fight someone in the interim. Like, once again, what are they trying to wait till Arthur Beterbiev falls off a cliff and gets old overnight? Is that what they're waiting for? No, guys, there's too much demand. It's like, look, Promotions 101, strike while the iron's hot. The rematch is a hot commodity at this point. You don't want to wait that long. I don't know, but they take forever to make these fights. You know what? Some of them I agree, and it has everything to do with money, JumpTube. Because, look, the only reason why this fight wasn't made any sooner is because both guys, understandably, wanted to get paid for the most challenging assignment of their respective careers, both for Bivol and Beterbiev. And because neither one of them are big ticket sellers, they wanted more than what the market dictated. That's the problem. And this is where Turki Al-Sheikh came in and really came up big and salvaged this matchup. Because if Turki Al-Sheikh isn't paying for this fight, I'm sorry, we'd still be waiting for this matchup. Because you really think Top Rank wanted to spend that kind of money? Or Eddie Hearn? You didn't hear Eddie Hearn or DAZN willing to pay for that matchup. It wasn't until Turki Al-Sheikh put up the coin to put together this fight that it was made. So it has nothing to do with the promoters or the networks or the fighters. It's basically, it's the market, guys. And if you want to see these fights, well, then you've got to start banging the drum for it. Or casual fans just have to start taking a greater interest. Otherwise, certain fights just don't make sense monetarily. Just like Rick said, who the fuck's going to pay for, what was it, Darius Fulgham and I don't remember. Like, who the hell wants to see Darius Fulgham fight anyway? I don't know. But so there it is, JumpTube. There's your answer, brother. Alberto says, Joe, Paco, president of WBO is stepping down. Yes, sir. Will this affect Top Rank's pull with the WBO? No, it will not. Because his in-house counsel is going to be taking the reins from Paco Varicel. And yeah, he already has a good relationship with pretty much every promoter, especially Bob Arum and Top Rank. So you'll still see the WBO, well, just like Gilberto Mendoza has favored Al Heyman over the last decade, you're going to continue to see the WBO favor Bob Arum in their ranking system, right? Yeah. So JumpTube also says, that's fine. They can sit there and wait on their time. Till then, the process of the contenders fighting each other for rankings and the defending of the title has to continue uninterrupted. But see, that's my point. Do you really give two shits about Arthur Beterbiev defending his title against a guy with 13 fights who's going to fucking get killed? It's funny. I'm going to bring that up to Coach James Gogue because he has a really interesting take. He has a really interesting take on the business. And that's why we love talking with Coach Gogue, because he has, he is so knowledgeable about every part of boxing. Not only what goes on in the ring, but the business as well. He's been a manager for several fighters. He's been a promoter. He's been a matchmaker. And obviously, he's one of the best coaches in boxing. One of the smartest coaches in boxing. So, hold on. Everyone starts somewhere. At one point, you didn't know who Beterbiev was either. Well, if you didn't watch the amateurs, you didn't know who Beterbiev was. But, when he turned pro, there were very high hopes for Artur Beterbiev coming out of the amateurs because he had that deep amateur background and he had fought guys like Alexander Usyk. And, yeah, he had an extensive amateur pedigree. And that's why you could put him in the ring with a guy like Tavares Cloud on his 6th pro fight, and he whooped his ass. So that's I don't know if that's a good analogy or a good example. Because, yeah, most people in this business were really looking forward to seeing what Beterbiev was going to do as a pro. Maybe fans, maybe not fans, obviously not fans, but everyone in this business, yeah, we knew Beterbiev was going to be a force when he turned pro, just like Usyk, just like Lomachenko, just like any guys, right, who have that deep amateur background. I'll say the biggest disappointment of all of those guys that I just mentioned has probably been Sergey Derevyanchenko. I would have sworn, I would have bet my house that he would have been able to become a champion, at least by now, because of his deep amateur celebrated background, right? I'll say he's been the biggest shocking disappointment because he is of that ilk and he's on that level. I never would have guessed in a million years that he would still be searching for his first major world title after being a pro for this long. Let's see. Yes, I will. And my apologies for not being able to call the action this past weekend. But once again, I was practicing with my band. Yeah, man, we had a really fun time on Saturday. Practicing. We had a kind of a live rehearsal at an open jam night. And man, it felt good to play in front of people again. It was a lot of fun, guys. And yeah, I'm still working on some stuff. I'm not in stage shape yet, but boy, I'm getting there. And it was a lot of fun to push some air in front of a nice crowd. So can we hear a demo? Well, I don't have one recorded right now, but as soon as we play our first gig, as soon as we hear our first gig, I'll get someone to record it and I'll play it on this show. I'll tell you what, let's do this, right? Let's do, Alberto says this, of your band. I tell you what, while we're waiting on Coach Gogie, and he's going to be here in about 13 minutes, and let me recharge my computer as well. All right, let's do this, guys. Let's do, hold on. Let's do, hold on. This is a song that I wrote for my ex and my former fiance, right? This is a song I wrote, recorded, and when we were signed to not Capital EMI, we were signed to YKM Records. And it's a song that I wrote for, I'll play it right now, guys. My apologies that it's taken so long. Let me know when you guys can hear and see this. This is a song I wrote about, and this is dealing, if anyone's ever been in a relationship with someone who suffers drastically from bipolar disorder, and extreme depression and anxiety, then you'll be able to relate to this. Listen to the lyrics if you can hear them, and you'll understand that everything that I went through in this relationship. And I called it Beautiful Mystery. She was indeed my beautiful mystery. Until she wasn't, in the immortal words of Yogi Berra. So here it is, guys. Beautiful Mystery by Red Eye. I wrote and recorded all.
Turn me away, and I will never leave. You scream at me, and I'll still be here. 'Cause I love you and everything you are to me. Deep in your heart, I hope you can see, and I won't give you empty promises. So let the rain fall down upon your face. The sun won't set inside of me, because I really see who you really are, my beautiful mystery. One moment bliss, and the next one sad. But the good times always outweigh the bad. 1 minute you're ready, and the next one cold. One moment shine, and you act so bold. But I love you in everything you want to be. Deep in your heart, I hope you can see. I'm gonna love you till eternity. So let the rain fall down upon your face. The sun won't set inside of me, because I really see who you really are, my beautiful mystery. So let the rain fall down upon your face. The sun won't set inside of me, because I really see who you really are, my beautiful mystery.
And there it is, guys. A beautiful mystery from Red IV, recorded back and released back in 2016. Wow, I can't believe it seems like an entire lifetime ago, actually. Guys, while we're waiting on Coach Gogie, I'm going to play this then. Now that I'm in music mode, right? And I've already gotten a copyright strike because even though I wrote and recorded this stuff, I don't have the rights to any of this. It belongs to YKM Records. And that's how the music industry is, right? So let's do this. Oh, here it is. Let's do it from the beginning, right? This is a song I recorded. It's on the same album, obviously. It's a song called The Odyssey. I wrote and recorded all of the instruments during the recording session.
You wake from your sleep and you wipe your eyes. You just can't believe it's only in your mind. People try and tell you who you are. Who knows you better than yourself? It's up to you to make your dreams come true. Open your eyes. The road ahead is easy to see. Look to the skies. The Odyssey is waiting on me. Your dreams are only dreams until you try. It's too easy to turn away with no one to catch you if you fall. It's up to you to make your dreams come true. Open your eyes. The road ahead is easy to see. Look to the skies. The Odyssey is waiting on me. Your dreams are only dreams until you try. Open your eyes. The road ahead is easy to see. Look to the skies. The Odyssey is waiting on me, and it's calling me. Oh,
Hey, Joe, I'm in the queue.
And listening to my old band, Red IV. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me okay? Coach, can you hear me okay? Coach, you there, sir? Guys, it looks like we may have some technical difficulties with Coach Gogie. I don't know. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello, Coach Gogie.
Joe, can you hear me?
Sir? I can hear you perfectly, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, ready to go, man. Yeah.
Very, very good. Thank you for being here, Coach Gogie. We appreciate it, brother. You know, I might actually make that your new theme song. I haven't heard that in a minute. And that was a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed making and recording that album, writing and recording all those songs. But I tell you what, guys, and once again, I want to thank you for hanging with us in this Warwick Boxing Roshi fundraiser and post-election celebration. Gogie, did you enjoy what you saw last night?
I don't like talking politics. This is a boxing show. Politics kind of like rubs people wrong. But I voted for Trump. You know what I mean? I didn't. I vote for policies. Okay, I believe in his policies. Are more effective in bringing out the best. Okay, like border control. What do you call it? Overspending in the government. Stuff like that. Economic policies, create more jobs. Energy policies. Foreign policies and everything else. You gotta deal with being the head guy, and I just believe in his policies. You know what I mean? That's why. Plus, I know Kamala from the '90s. When she was coming up in power in California. Oh, geez, nothing but scandal. I heard of nothing but scandal, and you talk to lawyers. I knew back in the days. I met a lot of lawyers in the box. From boxing, and they didn't have a lot of good things to say about her. You know what I mean? and so that always had that negative thing in my mind about her. Then she moved up the ladder. She's an ambitious lady, and she politically connected, and she rose all the way to vice president. Playing. It's like boxing. It's political. You want to get it. A lot of guys never fight for their title because they're not politically connected. And if you're politically connected, then you get more opportunities, man. But yes, you know what I mean. It was but I knew Trump would prevail. No matter all the media, the legacy media, and all that fake bullshit. I start because of Twitter, because of Twitter. X, Elon Musk, he saved free speech, and that's what did it. That enabled everybody to communicate with everybody instead of being censored like when that bitch ass pussy Jack Dorsey was in charge. I like to bitch slap that motherfucker, man. That guy that used to own Twitter, that little bitch ass. I like to see him one day on the street, bitch slap his ass, man. You know what I mean? I ain't playing. I like, you know what I mean? I like to grab him by his beard and bitch slap him. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is a boxing show. Last night is last night, and hopefully, it gets all the problems that are going on right now, straightened out and everything. He's got a big task ahead of him, baby. But Trump is an animal. I mean, one thing I admire about Trump is his work ethic. I love people with a strong work ethic and strong drive. The guy's damn near 80 years old, doing his last day. Before the election, he did 4 fucking rallies, and he did his last rally he did till 2 a.m. I was listening to it. And not only that, between the rallies, he's going on all these like Joe Rogan shows, doing all these interviews on TV station, radio stations. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Basically, Kamala didn't do that. She was scared to do interviews. She didn't, she avoided interviews, press conferences, big time, and her rallies were, more controlled, more smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? Just to get people excited because she paid Beyonce $10 million. I heard to bring her out there, and stuff like that, man. That's all phony baloney. Trump went out there and talked to the people, and he listened to the people. He found out what their concerns were, and and he had a plan going forward. To what do you call it? Alleviate the fears and anxiety for the future. So, but he outworked her, Joe. That's what I'm trying to say. Don King was like that. You know what I mean? I remember Don King said one day, he told me he told a bunch of us, he goes, I'm a black man, in a white man's business, being a promoter. He goes, I got to work 2 or 3 times harder than them white guys to get things done. You know what I mean? And Don King had an incredible work ethic, man. I used to work with, I did business with Don in the 90s. I knew his people real good back in the days. His top lieutenants back in the days, Mike Marley, Scott Woodworth, Sterling McPherson, his son, was pretty much Don's puppet. But anyway, the people, Dana, I can't remember her name. She was the most powerful woman in boxing at the time. And Dana, God darn it. She was Don's right-hand man. I knew them all. And I remember, man, that motherfucking King, boy. Oh, he was a worker up 5 a.m, man, making calls, waking his staff up. Oh, we're going to have a meeting. Get here at 6 o'clock. I remember one time, man, I had some business with him, and I had to get, I had to talk to, one of his people. And I called all day. I couldn't, man, it was important too. And I finally got a hold of the guy the next day. I said, man, what the fuck's going on? I'm trying to call you, man. He goes, Don had us in a meeting. Get this, Joe, from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
8 a.m. to 2 a.m. I about fell out of my chair. I like, oh yeah, man. He goes, Don wants us to work just as hard as him. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If he's gonna pay him, if he's gonna pay us the big bucks, he wants that. You know what I mean? He wants you to be 110% committed. That's the type of work ethic King had, man. Aaron wouldn't do that back in the days. Nope. Duva, Dan, Cedric, yeah, they were pretty much the top promoters. I know Chargan wouldn't do that.
Nope.
Don, hell no. I told Don that one time, Chargan, and he was like, "Holy shit!" And you know what? Why do you think he controlled boxing at one time? Why do you think he was the most powerful man in boxing? He outworked everybody. How do you think he got all the fucking heavyweights in the 90s? Oh my God, he had every fucking top fighter out of there, man. You know what I mean? He had every top fighter out there. He outworked everybody. He was on the phone all the time. Yeah, that's the type of work ethic, man. King. That's why he was so successful. Plus he had a great gift of gab. He was a great salesman, but his work ethic was unbelievable. And you know what? Trump reminds me of King. From up in the early morning, tremendous drive, energy, and stamina. Like I said, he's damn near 80 years old. He did 4 fucking rallies, traveling to different areas, including the radio interviews, the media interviews. That one Joe Rogan interview he did, it was 3 hours. Then he was 2 hours late for the his last rally of the day, damn near at 12 o'clock at night. And people stayed there because they were going to cancel it. Trump goes, I ain't canceling. I'll be there. Just tell him, hold on. And he was in Michigan. His work ethic, he outworked Kamala. Kamala would do one rally, go home, and you know what I mean, get on the bottle, and you know what I mean, don't do no interviews. And you know what I mean, Joe? And her interviews were very, what do you call it? Controlled, meaning, they had the questions. They already gave the questions to them people, what they wanted them to ask her. And, because she knew the answer. She's not good at doing interviews, just spontaneous like Trump. And her, you know what I mean? She never did press conferences because she would get murdered. You know what I mean? But Trump, nah, he went on to even the toughest interviews, like, media that didn't like him, ABC, CBS, 60 Minutes, all those left wing media, and he still did it. No problem, I'll do it. And just his work ethic and his drive that inspires me, man. And it was the same way with King. That's why I got attached to Trump, because I see the same work ethic. What do you think? King and Trump are good friends. Hey, winners think alike. Okay, super highly motivated individuals think alike. Okay, they get attracted to each other. Okay, King, he was a fucking machine, man. Now, like I said, man, that one story, 8 a.m, they started the 8 or 7 or 8 a.m, and at 2 a.m, they got out. Wow. How many hours is that, Joe?
Holy shit, man. Yeah, that's hell, dude. Oh
12.
That's 16 hours.
18 hours. 18 hours.
Oh my gosh, 18 hours.
Yeah, he goes, I go, did you guys eat? He goes, yeah, we just ordered out. They brought it over there. I said, what the fuck did you talk about? He goes, we had a lot of stuff to do. We had a lot of things to talk about. The whole staff was there, man. Unfucking believable. Yeah, that was one of the many stories, I came across in boxing. His work ethic, King, his drive, his fire, his energy, his stamina, his gift of gab, his salesmanship. You know what I mean? And Don is, King, he was like Trump. He was, very, he had that very infectious, engaging personality where you liked him. You know what I mean? When you first met him. Now, when you do business with him, you got to be careful. But you better have a good lawyer. Making sure, because King, he'll take advantage of you in a heartbeat. He will take. He will. He will. I've seen him do it so many times with different fighters, man. And they, basically, but his work ethic, unbelievable. King. And I see the same thing in what do you call it? Trump. And I see the same thing in Kobe Bryant, man. I watching them old interviews of Kobe Bryant. A fucking guy get up 4 a.m, do his first workout, go home, have breakfast. By 10 o'clock, he'd have a second workout, then go do his, normal practice, with the team. Then afterwards, go eat, get a little rest, and have his fourth workout, at the night. And he was telling somebody in the interview, he goes, if I do that, every day for 5 years, I'm gonna be so ahead of everybody they can't catch me. Work ethic, man. You got Joe. Everybody knows he's got great talent, but I never knew he had that work ethic, like that, man. That drive and everything, man. I remember a guy named Al-Biakani. He's strength and conditioning coach for the Kings. Sacramento Kings back in the days in the 90s. And he was our strength and conditioning coach for my guys in Sacramento, Willie Jordan, Tony Lopez, the world champions back in the days. And he brought me in one time. I mean, we were working out. He goes, they just got them playing the Bulls and Michael Jordan. He goes, guess what? He goes, you know what happened after the game? I go, what? He goes, they came to work out and lift weights. I go, what? After the game, he goes, yep. As soon as the game was done, him, Scottie Pippen, and a few others, they got on the strength conditioning coach. They started doing weights. Yeah, the weight training, Yeah, after the fucking game, 12:30, 1 a.m, they were done. Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking.
Wow.
Hey, look at Michael Jordan. Okay, that's an incredible work ethic, man. Yeah. Right after the game, I was like, God dang, man. That's why. Okay, you got to be hungry, Joe. Just like a fighter. You know what I mean? You got to be hungry. You got to pay attention to the details. You got to put in work on a consistent basis every day to develop your craft, to get in better condition, to get physically stronger, to develop boxing IQ. You know what I mean? To develop skill sets. Polish up the ones you already have and add extra dimensions to your game. You got to be fucking hungry and obsessed. And, and King, Trump, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Oh, yeah. They told me story. Kobe, I saw it in the video. And I'm like, okay, Michael Jordan. And Al-Biakani told me that the very next day, man, after the Bulls were in town. He goes, yep, they went right to the weight room, man, and started pumping that iron, man, after a fucking game. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, Joe. To be successful in anything in life, especially in this fucking tough business, you got to be hungry. You got to be focused. You know what I mean? and you gotta, pay attention to the details and take care of business every day. The will to prepare. You gotta have that strong. Everybody has the will to win, motherfucker. Yeah. You don't prepare right, you ain't gonna win. All right. The fights are won, Joe. The fights are won in the gym. You gotta have and will to prepare. You gotta have that discipline, that energy, that hunger to have that will to prepare. Yeah. But anyway, what are we gonna talk about in this fucked up business we're in?
Well, I tell you what, speaking of the will to win, but not exactly the best preparation leading up to, well, what was his toughest assignment to date against the guy that you had been working with indirectly, sparring with anyway. And that's Floyd Schofield Jr. versus Rene Diaz de Iron. And look, Gogi, were you surprised when you saw how the fight played out?
Yeah. I said that on my show. Remember a couple weeks ago that this guy, I told everybody that we've been sparring him. The last day of sparring, 14 rounds at a fast pace. My guy really pushed him to get into tip-top shape. Really pushed him to get in that conditioning he needed to overcome the big bombs that he was going to get hit with by Floyd. And going down the stretch in the championship, the back half of the fight, give him problems, cause him problems. He's a veteran, okay? He's a veteran. I knew this shit. I see it had about all the time. Remember I told you Floyd Schofield, he never answered he always, what do you call it? He always asked the questions, but he never answered no questions. Well, this fight, he had to answer some questions because he got hit with that left hook and everything. And I always say, when you got a guy, when you go the distance, especially against a good veteran, your deficiencies show. A good veteran brings out the deficiencies which you're missing in your game, and that's what happened in the fight. Schofield, oh God, inside game, nothing, non-existent. Hugging, smothering him, trying to tie him up, leaning on him, all off balance. Lack the proper fundamentals to execute. Inside game, lack the discipline to stick with a consistent jab round after round. He just gave up on it after the second round. He just gave up on it. He wasn't using it on a consistent basis, round after round, to make the fight easier for him. A lot of other shit. Trying to slug with a guy all wild and not real wrong green, man. That Schofield, man, and that's what I wanted to see, because all the other fights that motherfucker had, man, guys they weren't a challenge, they weren't a threat. He didn't answer no questions. He asked the questions, but he didn't answer any. But I knew Tejas, because I know him. I don't know, a few years, man. He's a solid vet. You know what I mean? Knocked out Carlos Balderas. It's not a he's not a Balderas is a good fighter. You know what I mean? Olympian, a USA Olympian, and he beat. He had other top wins. He just wore you down. He's a beast. But my guy had no problem with him, man. When we sparred, and my guy had no problem with him whatsoever. He went 14 rounds with him. Wasn't even tired, my guy. And we set the pace. We set the pace and what we wanted to do. But anyway, it was a good. What do you call it? Baptism under fire moment. Every fighter needs to go through to grow, and he never had that before. So this is his first one. But anyway, you seen Oscar after the fight. Oh, he's only 22. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be talking about Keyshawn and or Gervonta or Shakir. And he's right. Oscar, he's a boxing guy. He understands. He understands. The kid needs more development and everything. And basically, he needs to get. He needs to bring Ronnie Shields in, and he needs to go to Houston where Ronnie's at. Let Ronnie train him for a few fights. But his dad ain't gonna let that happen. His dad is I want to be Bill Haney. Okay, I want to be Bill Haney, a control freak. Sometimes you need, this guy has no experience in training fighters. Floyd's dad. Okay, and you got a guy like Floyd, a good raw, a talent, the raw talent that needs dimensions added to his game, that needs to get his skill levels polished up. Yeah, you got to go with a guy like Ronnie, a proven guy like that knows how to do it. Like riding a bike. Like he could do it in his sleep. So Ronnie just just comes in on the day of the fight or the day before the fight. So he don't know what the fuck they're doing. He ain't working with them. You know what I mean? The fights are won in the gym. Okay, that's where your skill sets are developed. Okay, your conditioning, your toughness. Okay. And Ronnie's not with him all the time. His dad's doing it, and they're doing all that. You ever watched his Instagram videos? He's doing all that strength and conditioning bullshit. But guess what? That shit don't teach you skills. That shit don't teach you boxing IQ. Okay.
That is absolutely right. And you know what, Coach? That pretty much says it all. So in your mind, where should we expect to see Floyd Schofield, and who would you like to see him take on next? And how far away is he from taking on one of the elite at 35?
Shit, I think he's a year away. That's if he gets better, Joe. All right, Keyshawn's he's calling out Keyshawn. Keyshawn will whoop his ass. Shakir will whoop his ass. Gervonta Davis will whoop his ass. All three of them guys. And that other guy, Abdullah Mason for Top Rank, a lot better fighter than Floyd Schofield. Schofield is all what do you call all smoke and mirrors, all right? No substance, all right?
Well, I tell you what, guys, that we found out an awful lot, but that's why you have these tests. And we have Rick Glaser to thank for putting together this matchup for Golden Boy. And we really learned a lot about who Floyd Schofield is at this time.
Yeah.
And we spoke to Coach Ronnie about it earlier tonight. And he said, yeah, well, it's going to have to be, it's up to his father, obviously.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. But I tell you what, let's look to the co-main event, because Coach Ronnie was also the chief second in David Dynamite Stevens.
Yeah.
And in which against Beck the Bully, in which a lot of people felt that David Stevens actually did enough to win, but didn't get the nod on two of the judges. And that pretty much sealed his fate. So Beck the Bully, by the skin of his teeth, wins a split and a very unpopular decision against David Dynamite Stevens. Coach Gogi, what did you think of the co-main event, and who did you think won? And is Beck the Bully, why doesn't he seem to be progressing under Joel Diaz?
He hasn't gotten better in the last 3-4 years I've been watching him. He's the same old shit. You know what I mean? David Stevens, he surprised me. I thought it would be an easy fight for Beck because I've seen Stevens fight, but Ronnie, you gotta give Ronnie credit. He got him in great shape for this fight. Okay, he got him in great shape, and he was fighting at the best I've seen him ever. David Stevens and Beck. What you see in Beck, you go back 3-4 years when you turn pro, it's the same old shit. Okay, it's the same old shit. Doesn't he doesn't he hasn't added new dimensions to his game. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you know what? And this was supposed to be for a title eliminator to face Canelo.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And there it is, guys. I honestly, I'd rather see a rematch than to see any one of these guys step in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. But I tell you what, let's now, speaking of litmus tests, we're going to see Keyshawn this Friday night in Norfolk, Virginia, against his toughest test to date, Argentine Gustavo Lemos. And Jesus M asks you, and once again, thank you for hanging with us, brother, and thank you for supporting the coach on this day. And he says, Coach, can Keyshawn be elusive and smother Lemos's punches and use Lemos's aggression against him? What would that be a part of your fight plan for this Friday's main event from Virginia on ESPN?
Shit, just let Keyshawn fight the way he always been fighting. Okay, he can handle pressure. All right, he's tough. He's physically and mentally tough. He's technically skilled. Okay, fundamentally sound. He looks his best when a guy like Lemos comes at him, man. He gonna pick Lemos apart, man. Lemos, he's a physical, aggressive pressure fighter, volume puncher. But that's right up Keyshawn's alley, man. He'll pick Keyshawn, explosive, sharp, great reflexes, athleticism. Okay, could fight in the pocket. Goes to the body, beautiful body shots, beautiful combinations, and everything. Oh yeah, man. Keyshawn's been prepared for this fight too, because he's fought other guys. I think his last fight or the fight before, a guy that was a physical pressure fighter that took it to him. You know what I mean, Joe? And this guy, yeah, I think Keyshawn's gonna shine. He's gonna make a statement. Yeah, because this guy's style is perfectly tailor made for Keyshawn.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be going down this Friday night, guys. I can't wait to see it. And that's going to be your main event this Friday on ESPN. The following evening, we're going to see, and look, I wish I could say this was a highly anticipated rematch, but it's not. Once again, ordered by the good folks of Daryl People in the IBF. Oh my gosh, why are we seeing this again, Coach? IBF and it's Boots Ennis versus Karen Chikadze in 2 in a fight that was a snoozer, in which Jaron Boots Ennis didn't really know how to cut off the ring and close the distance effectively, and it was a stinker as a result because there was only one guy who wanted to fight that night. Why are we seeing this again this Saturday on DAZN?
They got to go by the mandatory, I don't know why they got that guy as a mandatory contender, man. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's promoter, got a lot of juice with Daryl. So, that's why they're mandating this fight and everything. Yeah. Who's got to do it? Or he'll give up he got to give up his belt. And, I think Boots will look better this fight. Okay. He's got some familiarity with this guy. Okay. So, especially a good, talented, athletic fighter like Boots, highly skilled. Yeah, man, he's got familiarity with this guy now. I think he'll stop him.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope we see some improvement in that area, and let's hope he gets that guy out of there. And so my question is, if you're Boots and Bozy, as well as Eddie Hearn, and more than likely, Boots Ennis is going to move up to 154 after this because that's where the money is. There's no money at 47 at this time. And it pains me to say that because welterweight used to be the second glamour division of boxing.
Used to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, boy, it's a desert. It's a barren wasteland in terms of money, in terms of competition. Look at the top 10 in every ranked or in every sanctioning organization, including the ring. And it's dog shit, guys.
Yeah.
Look, when you're getting Mario Vargas versus Abel Ramos for the WBC title. Come on now, guys.
Oh.
Yeah. So, once again, why is he doing this now? If he's going to move up to 54 anyway, it's a waste of our time. It's a waste of network money. And right now, I'm at the point where I don't even want to recognize the IBF any longer because of their terrible rankings. Look what we just saw against Janabek Ali Manala in Australia.
Oh, God.
That was a waste of time and a waste of ESPN money. And I don't want to see it anymore. With that said, also, why the hell in your co-main event are we seeing Eddie Hearn's best fighter in the co-main event in Philly and not San Antonio?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, Bam's one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world. And he's from a hot market in San Antonio. Why don't you just showcase him over there?
Yep. Because that makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't know what goes through their thinking process. I'm not one of the suits over there at Eddie Hearn's office. So I don't know what they're thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like Bam Rodriguez is fighting Pedro Guevara in your co-main event schedule for 12 rounds. And he's going to be defending his WBC super flyweight title. Yeah, I can't see Pedro Guevara, who's a guy who stands in the pocket and trades. I don't see him lasting longer than 8 or 9 rounds, Coach.
He's a tough kid though, that Guevara, Pedro. He's a tough cookie. Yeah.
He is a tough kid, but Bam is a special fighter. In your mind, Coach, where would you put Bam in your top 10 pound for pound list? Where would he be at this time?
Hell, probably top 5.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that. And once again, that's your action for this weekend. Let's go back though. Let's look at, did you get to see Raymond Murataya?
I didn't see the fight. No, I didn't get to see that. I heard he knocked the guy out in the second round.
Yep. And I told you guys he would. And so yeah, so you focused on the DAZN show.
That's all. That's the only fight out. No, I won. There's 2 fights I wanted to see. Oshaki Foster and Consacao, and the DAZN show, the main event.
Okay, very good. Then let's look at Oshaki Foster versus Robson Conceição, in which Oshaki Foster fights pretty much the same fight, but this time gets the decision over the awkward Robson Conceição. Coach Gogi, yeah, you called it. You said Oshaki's going to get the decision this time, but it's going to be a very similar fight that we're going to see play out. Where does Oshaki go from here? At 130. Go ahead, sir.
I heard he's a free agent now. You know, that was his last fight with Top Rank, I heard. So I have no idea. You know what I mean? And, you know, if he starts asking for too much money that's not in their budget, Top Rank will get rid of him because he brings nothing to the table. You know, he's not really entertaining. He's not a ticket seller. And I know how Top Rank thinks. Don't let him walk. You know, they don't need him.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly, I don't see where you go with the guy like Oshaki Foster from here. He's an excellent fighter, very skilled, 2-division world champion. But what the hell are you going to do with him if you're a promoter?
That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, and there it is, guys. There it is. I tell you what, though. And then looking forward on the calendar, you've got a great card coming up on the 16th. It's going to be Latin Night. Golden Boy Promotions presents on Riyadh season with Turkey Al Sheikh in your main event of the evening. Zurdo Ramirez in a unification bout with Chris William Smith. This is a great style matchup, but once again, 2 non-ticket sellers.
Yeah, you know, Latin Night in Saudi Arabia. Oh, that makes so much fucking sense. Yeah.
And in the co-main event, oh boy, you've got a great style matchup on paper, but I don't see it playing out that way in Jose Ramirez versus Arnold Barboza. Coach, how long does this one last?
Ramirez is at the tail end of his career, man. You know, if Barboza doesn't beat him, he needs to quit, okay?
Oh, boy.
Ramirez ain't got no defense. He's at the tail end of his career. He's got a lot of miles on his engine, and it might be his last big payday.
Yep. Guys, yeah, I can't. Oh, I think he's going to get killed. Look, if Francis Barthélemy was shaking him like a salt shaker, yeah, I can't see him going the distance against Arnold Barboza, who's been looking for this kind of opportunity, right? Let's just face it, guys. And then you've got William Zepeda in the ring again. Ooh, and the lamb to the slaughter, Tevin Farmer. Is he going to be the first guy to stop Tevin Farmer?
Farmer's an elusive guy. He's hard to hit. He's tricky. He's slippery. He makes you look bad, man. You know what I mean? They took Farmer to prepare him for Shakir. Okay, a left-handed, skilled fighter. But yeah, this Farmer, you know, former world champion. It's good to have somebody like that on your resume. I heard he's been training good in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. In fact, he's on his way right now to Saudi Arabia, to get used to the time change, to get all that jet lag out of him. See, when you're fighting like in a real far distance on the other part of the world, man, worst thing you could do is get there the week of the fight. Best thing to do is get there 2 weeks before the fight, to get your body acclimated to the new time change and to get that damn jet lag out of you, man. So your legs are fresh and that sluggishness is out of you and everything. Plus, when 2 weeks for the fight, you can start. Most of your hard work is done. Okay, yeah, you don't need to. If you ain't in great shape 2 weeks for the fight, you got a problem. Your hard work is done. Your heavy sparring is done. It's basically staying sharp, keeping your timing and rhythm, and making weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what then, and we also have, I think, an excellent style matchup. Oscar Duarte taking on Kenneth Sims Jr. Could we see an upset here, Coach?
It's a good fight. It's a good fight for Sims. You know what I mean? So yeah, because if you're gonna be a contender, you got to beat guys like Duarte, a tough physical fighter, heavy puncher, physically strong, tough. Yeah, it's a good fight. It's a good fight.
And there it is. And rounding out, guys, Oscar Collazo versus Neom Trong, who's also undefeated, and he's going to be defending his WBO minimum weight title. Yeah, Coach, I love this card, but I don't understand what it's doing in Saudi Arabia.
Prince wanted the money, wanted that fight there. They gave him the money. Oscar says, okay, we'll go.
Michael Shaw, and this is what I heard as well. I just wasn't sure. Sims was scratched, and he's been replaced by a guy by the name of Akhmedov, who's 10-3. I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Maybe he got injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, wouldn't surprise me. This is boxing, and yeah, but look, nonetheless, it's going to be a great card. I'm really looking forward to it. I just don't know why it's in Saudi Arabia, but once again, Turki al-Sheikh, the minister of entertainment in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, he's doing a great job, basically supporting boxing. Now, once again, this fight card takes place the night after Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Look, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of this fight, but I'm a huge fan and supporter of this event. But ticket sales aren't going all that well in Dallas or Arlington, Texas, more specifically. Why do you think it's not selling that well, Coach?
What are the ticket sales so far?
I'm not sure, but it doesn't look good. And from what I've been told, that, yeah, man, not good. Not good. They're really worried about, putting in a respectable crowd inside that cavernous AT&T Stadium, home of the Cowboys.
Well, maybe they'll have a quick walk-up crowd, you know what I mean? A good walk-up, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, well, look, how is this fight going to play out, Coach? Jake Paul, 14-ounce gloves, 8 2-minute rounds. The only way you can win is by way of knockout. And I think they're doing a tremendous job promoting this event. But is it going to play out to where it's going to get people talking about, casual mainstream fans talking about the sport of boxing any further?
And we'll see, Joe. You never know. Last time Mike Tyson fought, how many pay-per-view buys did he get? 1.6 million? 1.5?
That is true. Yep.
Now, anybody else done any better than Tyson since?
Hell no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it. That's great. I tell you what, though, they're doing a great job promoting this event. Let's just hope it lives up to the hype and gives, casual mainstream fans something to talk about in terms of boxing once again. But I tell you what, guys, I'm about to the end of my rope right now. I've been on the air for almost Well, about 3 hours and 35 minutes. And Coach, is there anything you'd like to touch on? Because I need to get something to eat.
Yeah, go ahead. You know, Joe, I just wanted to talk about that deal Rick Glazer got. What is it?
That's right. Hold on. Let me
What does it entail? How many TV dates? Yeah.
Let me talk
What did he
about,
say?
brother. Here, I'll read his tweet and then I'll talk about exactly what he said on the air, right? He said this via Twitter on Monday. He said, "It's now official. I'm proud to announce a long-term deal with an all-new revolutionary sports platform, Nothing But Sports, that will debut in July 2025. And it'll be free to all consumers worldwide and will include 18 to 24 live boxing events a year administered by GLASERboxing.com, including acquiring all boxing content and quality control. In other words, I'm tasked with making this great. Remember, Nothing But Sports will be totally free by just becoming a subscriber. It'll be that simple to watch free quality boxing, as my stamp of approval will be on all Nothing But Sports boxing events. More details to follow the first quarter of 2025. Nothing But Sports is only sports." Now, this is what he had to say about it. It was going to be 24 events, 2 different series. 12 were going to be completely developmental, and 12 were going to be 50-50 matchups, kind of like what Pro Box is doing, right?
Okay, that's good.
But it was going to be more like, instead of guys who were not signed with promotional contracts, he's open to working with anyone. And depending, he couldn't disclose the budget, right? Because he really couldn't talk about that, he stated. But he said it would be more like USA Network Friday or Tuesday Night Fights or Friday Night Fights, in which he'll be working with individual promoters as a new outlet, almost like Showbox. And so the promoter will promote the entire fight card, and it'll be all their fighters with, and he'll be in charge of the matchmaking and, making sure, quality control, basically, like a Lou DiBella or anyone in charge of something like that. And
so
go ahead, sir.
12 of the fights are going to be like developmental fights, right? The so-called rising stars of boxing.
Yep. And the other 12 are going to be like Friday Night Fights, USA Network's Tuesday Night Fights, that sort of thing. And he said they're going to have 24 events during the year. But my question is, Gogi, Nothing But Sports?
I have no idea, Joe. They must have some big money behind it, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. He couldn't disclose the budget, and
because Joe, you're gonna put these guys in 50-50 fights. They're gonna want to get paid. You know what I mean? And so it got to be you know what I mean? It's gotta can't be club show money. What I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you mentioned that, I remember Friday Night Fights. I was shocked when I found out what the budget was that promoters had to work with in putting those fight cards together. And it was only $50,000 was the licensing fee that they were willing to spend. And they got some pretty damn good matchups. Several Fight of the Year candidates like Mickey, or Fight of the Year winners like Mickey Ward and Emmanuel Augustus. They had some pretty good upsets too, like Ruslan Provodnikov versus Mauricio Herrera.
I remember that. So, we fought on Tuesday Night Fights a lot back in the day for my heavyweight Claybay. So
I remember that.
Yeah, back in the days. Brad Jacobs, the guy who one of the suits at Top Rank, he used to run that and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So my point is, do you expect to see them or is that maybe for some large shoes to fill? Do you think Rick Glazer can actually bring that to Nothing But Sports?
If they got the resources, Rick's a boxing guy. Okay, he knows what good matchups are. I'm pretty sure Rick's on his phone all the time, like King, talking to everybody and everything. So, and people will contact Rick too. Hey, man, hey, I got this guy. Who can we match him with? He'll be a great fight. You know what I mean? So, Rick. Like I said, he's just got to develop. Rick got a network of people that have fighters and everything that he could trust. That's the main thing. You could, that they're gonna come. They're gonna be professional, and you ain't got to worry about them. They're gonna come in shape. They're gonna make weight, and they're gonna give you guys. They're gonna put on a great fight. For the platform and everything. So, yeah. But Rick, he's a boxing guy. He knows what a great matchup. He knows what it takes to make great matchups and everything. So, but the thing is, my question is, these people better have deep pockets. And my next question is, how the hell are you going to make money off this? How are they going to generate revenue? Sponsorships, ads, or I have no idea.
Yeah, you know what? I don't either. And honestly, I really hope it works, and I really hope it succeeds. And for boxing's sake, as well as Rick Glaser, it remains to be seen, guys. I'm going to support it, just like I support everything else. Just like
it's free. It's free. I'm going to support it. Shit.
Of course, absolutely. And I tell you what, congratulations to Rick for landing this assignment. And well, yeah, he's Let's hope that he makes it happen. And yeah, that's what we need in America, another boxing outlet, because let's just face it, we don't have very many these days.
Only one promoter with network TV. Everybody else is on them apps. Okay.
Yep. And I tell you what, right now, I'd like to thank Derby Stardom for actually donating to the Roshi fundraiser, guys. And once again, thank you very much for your kind and generous donation, brother. We appreciate it, man. And then we've got, once again, if you guys would like to donate as well, $ War a Week at Cash App. And I want to thank you for hanging with us. Coach Gogie, I'm at the end of my rope, brother. I'm starting to see double. Do you have any parting shots for our listening audience there?
No. Just, I guess, what fights you got this week? I don't know.
No, it's the Keyshawn Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Gustavo Lemos on Friday. And then we've got, the return of Boots Ennis versus Karen Chewbacca. And, Bam Rodriguez versus Guevara.
Okay, we got some good fights coming up. So, we'll talk about it this Sunday.
Very good, Coach Gogie. Thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate you coming through, man. And because we weren't able to go on Sunday nights, but thank you, brother, for your post-election activity. And I tell you what, guys, once again, God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. God bless everyone. And once again, guys, thank you for going out and making your voices heard and voting, because I tell you what, they couldn't steal this one. So God bless all of you guys. On behalf of Coach Ronnie, Rick Glaser, Big James Bell, and the incomparable Coach James Gogie, the flagship of War Week Boxing, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing, guys. God bless all of you. And thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for donating, guys. And anyone who still wants to donate, we're going to be continuing this fundraiser all throughout the weekend. And you can do so with $ War a Week on Cash App. But God bless all of you guys. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogie.